I feel like it's been a while since you've been on, even though it's only been like a week, right?
Yeah, it's been a week because I just missed. Cause we started doing Wednesdays, right? So
Yeah.
I just missed one Sunday and a Wednesday.
You look like you dropped weight, like in your
I dropped
face.
10 pounds,
I can see it already, which is
bro.
funny,
Right
right?
away, he dropped my lambs so hard.
Mhm.
Like I was going from like 75, 8,000 calories to like I'm at like 4,600 for this
Oh
week.
yeah, yeah. Justin likes to. Justin, he don't want to fuck around. He's not trying to have you lose 1 pound a week. Justin don't
No,
do that
no,
shit.
he was trying instantly to get the water off, the insulin sensitivity back. Like,
Get you going.
yeah, I
What's
was
up?
292 yesterday.
Oh wow. What's up, Ken?
What's up, guys?
Yo,
It's been a bit, Joe. Long time. I feel like I haven't spoken to you
bro,
in like
I
a
was
little
just telling
while.
baby,
You know,
it's only been a week.
dude, it feels like a
It, f-
month, man.
it feel like
It
it feel
really
like a long
does.
time.
Yeah,
But Joe looks slim, right? Look at
You
Slim
know,
Joe.
yeah. His face is starting to slim out. Yeah,
Last podcast he was
yeah,
like this. He was
he
yeah,
fucking
looks he looks more comfortable. That's the best way to put
bro, it's crazy. So
it.
I was telling Beatty I dropped 10 pounds from last week.
Wow, wow.
yeah.
Justin like pulled back my food like crazy. I
Mhm.
still haven't done cardio, nothing, but I weigh 292.
Yeah.
Wow.
Nice and light, nice light and fit at 292, right?
Bro, I can walk around fine. I can wipe my ass. I can shower fine. Everything's good now.
That
Anybody,
that camera
anybody?
takes like 10 pounds off. You're more like 50 actually. You don't look like you
It
have
Yeah.
300
does.
pounds in there.
Have you guys ever seen Joe in person? You
I
guys haven't seen him in
haven't,
person,
no.
right? Yeah,
No.
like he looks triple the size in person than he does on like okay. So well, Ken hasn't seen him in person, but I'm a taller, wider guy, right? But if you watch the video with me and Joe, Joe looks twice as wide as me. It's like what the fuck? I don't even make fucking sense. You know what I'm saying? Paul too though. Paul is white as hell.
Yeah,
But Paul looks like a caveman, bro. He's like this wide, bro.
yeah.
This
So
shit
naturally, my clavicles are actually kind of wide. Paul's shoulders are just so huge, it makes him
yeah,
wide.
makes him wide. You guys ever notice that your voice changes when you lose weight?
No,
Anybody notice
that's
that?
that
I,
that hasn't happened to me.
I'm sick, so my voice
Come
is
back in like 4 months when I'm like dieted down. We should compare the podcast.
No, like when I go, I mean, I don't notice it in real time, but mind you, I usually film my preps, right? So I go watch a video. I'm like, bro, I sound like I'm 16. Like I sound like a kid. Like my voice, because I feel like we have a hard time fucking breathing. Maybe I don't fucking know. And then your voice starts to get raspy. So when your voice clears up, it sounds like clearer. It's like a weird thing I notice when I go back to like um old videos. Yeah. How long you been dieting, Joe?
up
How long you been dieting?
like coming down.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, it's
Like
only been a
prep.
week. Oh, I haven't started yet. So
Oh,
so off season ended, and then this is my cruising phase, and then I start prep officially in 5 weeks.
wait. Okay, so you're gonna do a cruise before the prep.
Yes,
Justin doesn't always do it that way though, right?
he's done it with me that way every time.
Oh, he didn't do that with me.
So
You
what he
figure
does is
Beatty's so strung out on drugs he needs them.
so, okay. So let me put it this way: this is the first time my prep is actually so it's 14 weeks. For USA's, he actually did a small like push
Close that point.
at the beginning of the prep. So I started 19 weeks out for USA's, but at
Mhm.
the beginning of it, he was actually trying to like put a little more size on before coming down. It was only
Damn.
like it was only like 4 weeks, and then he started the opposite portion of it. So this
Damn.
this time around, it's 14 weeks now.
Compton must have no he has no faith in my dieting and fat burning skills because I swear he started me like 23 weeks out. He like this fat motherfucker needs all the time he can get, bro.
Hey, bro, no, he was the same with me. He gave me 19 weeks.
Okay.
So, but this time around, though, I think he learned that I get in shape pretty fast. So he didn't extend it so long.
Well, yeah, because like if I was the coach, right? If I would see you peak off, I would be like, "Yo, this man need about 25 weeks."
Yeah,
but then all of a sudden, boom, you're fucking shredded, and it's like, what the fuck just happened? You know what I'm saying? It happens
I get
overnight.
right back in shape in about like 4 to 6 weeks. Like I start to look like a bodybuilder again.
That's crazy.
Joe, are you doing? I know you're doing California. Are you planning to do any other shows or just Cali?
So I think I want to do Tampa if I don't do how I want to do it the Cal.
Okay.
Tampa is what, 2 weeks? 2 weeks after?
No,
Yeah, something like that.
No, Tampa's way after.
It's like May, June,
August.
Oh, you're right. It comes because the USA is before Tampa. USA's right.
Yeah, so it's usually a week before Tampa.
Oh, there's nothing closer. Shit. Toronto, maybe.
Toronto's the next week.
The reason I wanted to do Tampa was because I wanted to go to Justin's house and then be close by.
That makes sense.
Yeah, Joe not going to Toronto. I got time for that. Let me pull up Joe. Have you posted anything recently, Joe?
Like before the podcast started.
Right,
I did this one for Ken.
You can't have too much arms.
That's my man right there. See, Bitey, you're the only one on that hill, bro.
Arms looking good though. Let me see. Oh, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, my arms were 22 inches on, not pumped. I think that's pretty decent for now.
Damn, you guys like measure. I feel like I haven't measured my arms in years.
Yeah.
You're damn right. I measure.
You got to measure for the gay guys. They always ask.
I couldn't tell you.
Oh wow, that's pretty big.
What happened to my?
They love that shit.
Instagram? What happened to my damn Instagram? It went cold.
Joe broke your Instagram.
Yeah, my arms were too swollen that picture.
I just checked. It's 10 weeks from the California to Tampa. Because
holy shit,
California is the 25th of May, and then Tampa is the 3rd of August. So,
that's a long time.
You can have.
I'm sure. My whatever happens, I'll talk to Justin, and he'll give me his input. But that's the last time we talked about anything after the California. He just told me to focus on one show at a time. But
there's Chicago. There's Chicago 8 weeks after, and then Chicago to Tampa is 2 weeks. So
you can have a whole damn off season in between the damn shows, bro.
Get a little tiny rebound.
Yeah.
4 weeks.
Let me see how
I heard a rumor actually that I was talking to Ryan Foster, and he's talking to some of the judges and the promoters around here. Supposedly the Vancouver Open or the Vancouver Pro Show is still happening up here in Canada, but I don't know.
I thought that was canceled after last year.
I thought it was too, but supposedly behind the scenes, like they just haven't submitted for their their certification for the IFBB or I don't know.
Because there weren't many guys last year, right? I mean, that was the whole thing. Yeah.
That wasn't a very. I mean, there were good guys, I guess, but not. Oh no, I'm talking about Toronto. Who did Vancouver? Oh, it was just Ian and Antoine, wasn't it?
Yeah. No, it was Hassan.
Wasn't that Toronto?
No. Ian or Antoine didn't compete last year. Ian and Hassan were 1 and 2 in Toronto, and then Vancouver.
It was Stanimol and Hassan. Yeah. Stanimol Hassan.
Oh,
I think Nate Spear did it too. I'm not sure. I forget.
Yeah, Nate got third there.
Yeah,
nasty
yeah.
Nate. I still haven't had Nate on the podcast. Fucking, that's crazy, right?
Yeah, we
I've
got to
been
bring him
knowing
on.
Get him on the list. Yeah.
I've been knowing Nate for some time now. I think I did my first show ever with him. I want to say. All right. Stu's arms is arming too.
Everyone's
arming pretty hard.
Everyone posted arms this week, Bitey. You're the only one.
but you know what's funny? Let's say when his arms actually look bigger when he covers the rest of his body, right? Because it's like I feel like he's so big everywhere else that when you see it together, you're like, his arms is pretty good, but then when you see the arms by himself, it actually looks even bigger, right? Or than me.
Would you say they're balanced?
Yeah,
I was just gonna say that.
Let me look at the whole physique. Yeah, I mean, yeah. To be honest,
hey, that dude, hold on. That shirt that I was wearing right there,
yeah,
I made it myself.
Really?
Yeah.
I wanted to ask too. I also see a logo in the top right. Is that in the gym, or you kind of put that there?
No, yeah, they have us like overlay some shit onto our.
To be honest, bro,
they didn't have any like shirts big enough for me at Apollo, so I was just like,
"Fuck it,
I'll do it myself."
Yeah, to make your own.
How do they have how they don't have a shirt your size? What the fuck?
Well, I mean, 4Xs are not that common.
It's not super common, no. Speaking of balance, though, Stu's physique is pretty balanced everywhere, right? Like top to bottom. Yeah.
I think that's his strength. That's Stu's strength.
I think so.
Yeah, he has no weaknesses. You know,
he had the good weights too. I feel like because he's kind of considered a mass monster, right? But he pulls like a partial vacuum, and he has.
It's not good right now because
but it gets
heavy. Yeah.
But dude, I mean, he got to go with.
This video got reposted a bunch of places, including on Nick Strength and Power.
I saw that.
On his like YouTube shorts. I have like a fetish for reading mean comments or something because, like,
oh boy,
dude, YouTube guys are so mean. And the RX Muscle commenters are so mean. It's just it doesn't get to me or anything. It's just I don't know. It's wild to me. Internet bodybuilding fans are terrible.
That's you know what I think? I don't even think it's bodybuilding. I just think it's internet culture. Yeah, honestly.
I think so. Yeah, I think so. But those people, they're not. I don't think they're really into bodybuilding though, because people who are really into bodybuilding, they don't think that way. Like somebody said, again, we talked about Phil Heath balance or whatever, or legs. Somebody was like, Phil Heath had shit legs, and it's like, what are you talking about, bro? No,
what the fuck?
Say stuff. Yeah,
you got shit legs. Your legs are shit, not Phil. Like what are we talking about? You know, I think they don't really understand what's going on. You know, they don't really understand what's going on in sports. So they just look for shit to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, also like the whole like, you know, when we're in off season versus contest, you know, someone would see like a video like this video Stu posted and they'll say something like, oh, you know, he can't win a show in that condition. Like, bro, he's not posting it to
don't intend to.
No.
Yeah, for the show, you know, that's an off season condition. There's also just those little things that I feel like people just don't they don't take into context. I hate to use it, but the normies don't take those stuff into context. You know,
I personally find it wildly entertaining. Like I just like let's see how low these people can stoop.
they'll go pretty low.
I was gonna say that there's always a level deeper, man. It can keep going.
Oh, yeah.
There's always like at least two people on the repost that are like, man, that's a hard to market face right there. Like, yeah, dude, I fucking know that.
You know,
that's fucked up, man.
You're beautiful, Stu. Don't let them tell you otherwise.
Yeah, man, I'm realistic. One of the pretty boys.
Yeah. You got to smile more to change their perception.
Oh, yeah.
Stu's an acquired taste.
Didn't I think of that?
Oh yeah, on YouTube, actually on YouTube and Instagram. If you say something fucked up enough, though, they'll like either hide the comment or they'll remove it. So like every once in a while, like I'll go back and forth with somebody, and they'll take down the whole shit. I'm like, bro, what the fuck happened? I'm like, oh, he must have said something. He must have said something really fucked up. If they take it, one time somebody opened a new message. He's like, oh, did you delete the message I got to you? And I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. I didn't even see the message. So he must have left. If you leave like a really fucked up message, they won't even allow it to go up. You know, I personally, I kind of want to see it. I kind of want to see what you said. Can you say it again? What the fuck did you just say? You know, I can because it doesn't bother me. Sometimes I go back and forth just because I have extra time. You know, you could be on the toilet and you kind of just want to like, I don't know, you kind of want to go back and forth a little bit.
Yeah,
but
it's
it
banter.
never.
It's all good, man.
Yeah, it's
But
not gonna.
they mean it. They mean it. You're just fucking with them. You know?
Yeah. Well, I feel like the truth hurts more. Like if it's just like random stupid shit, it's not gonna hurt you. Like the truth, if somebody tells you the truth and it hits like it hits a nerve, that's when you go and fucking block the comment. But if you're going back and forth, you know, if you're going back and forth, it probably doesn't affect you. If it really fucks you up, you're gonna be like fuck you, and you're gonna go like try to fucking block it or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like I'll probably only block like 2 people. The shit actually got to me. I'm like, motherfucker, and I'm like, block. but if I'm going back, that probably means it doesn't bother me because if it gets to you, you're not gonna sit there and fucking type back and forth all day, you know. But let me.
I look at it. I look at it too. Like we're all relatively at a stage now. Where there is some level of eyes being on you. I remember back when I was started working out and bodybuilding.com was still big then and all those places, no one gave a crap what you did. Like if people are actually posting or people are saying stuff about you, it means that, your name is going to certain places, be it bad or good exposure. It's still exposure. You know
There's
what
no
I mean?
such thing as bad exposure.
Exactly.
I mean,
Exactly.
The shit comments are just par for the course nowadays. So
yeah,
it's just gonna come with the territory,
Yeah.
I feel like Stu, I mean, we're on this podcast, we all talk casually and whatnot, but it's gonna get to a point where if we all continue to do really well, the things you say here,
we're
it
gonna have
will
to tighten it
matter.
up. Yeah, we're gonna have to tighten it up.
It will matter. So it's like
sucks, yeah.
it sucks, but that's just the
like when we started the podcast, it was kind of like we can get away with a lot more. But then you like we're all starting to notice, oh, this person probably saw the podcast, or like they'll flat out say, hey, I saw the podcast. And I'm like, oh, holy shit. So we're like, okay, at this point we understand that more people are gonna see it. And like as you guys are competing and start winning shows and shit like that, that's gonna be even more. So nobody wants to feel censored, but the truth is like freedom of speech is not real. Like there's limits to freedom of speech because everything has a reaction. Technically, you can say whatever you want, but don't think that's not going to cause some.
There's always a consequence, bro.
Exactly. Always. So anybody can say anything, but there's always the consequence. And also, like we're not like we're not malicious people. So we're never trying to purposely make somebody feel some kind of way. Like it's all jokes and banter. It's not meant to be taken seriously. You know what I'm saying? Unless it is, then sometimes every once in a while it's meant to be taken seriously. Like I one time Compton was on here and he was serious, but I had to edit some parts out just because.
I remember that episode well.
Classic. We've done that like twice now.
Yeah,
I've never seen you so happy.
Well, the truth is that I feel like we would much rather be able to just post anything in a perfect world, right? We would want to be on here talking about anything freely and open like we do in private, but that's just not the reality of the world. No, nobody can actually do that. That's not honestly. I mean, you just can't do that, bro. You just can't do that. So, unfortunately, we're gonna have to no censorship, but have to be. I try to be more careful.
Mouth.
Yeah, I try to be more careful with my jokes because my sense of humor sometimes could be like a little over the top. But even that, you got to be careful because if you don't know me, you're gonna be like, "What the, what the fuck is this guy talking about?" Like, you can't say that shit, So
we need to do a live. It'll be like Russian roulette. But we have to have Justin and Stu on at the same time.
No, facts. All right,
that'd be fun.
I just saw Quint Beastwood post something, and he looked he what?
Is that him currently?
It looks like it because he definitely wasn't that big the last time he was lean. But
Yeah, bro. I was like, holy crap.
Oh
I
no,
thought it
this
was
is not. This is not recent. This is not
oh,
recent.
it's not.
years
Okay,
ago, yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I think
He
he
looked
even
good
puts it.
there.
He put like I think that's 2021. Yeah, he put it there.
Oh,
That is so okay.
Yeah,
that
see?
that mirror that he's taking pictures in,
oh,
it
that's the
makes
magic
people
mirror.
look crazy.
Yeah,
Like
I remember I saw Diddle Shack in this. I was like,
Diddle Shack.
oh
Yeah.
shit! I was
Bro,
like,
when I saw Diddle Shack in that bitch, I thought he was about to be Mr. Olympia.
yeah,
Yeah.
me
I thought
too.
I thought it was over. I said, "Oh, yeah, y'all gotta watch out." But okay, I think this is recent. I saw Antoine. So Antoine doing Arnold, right? Antoine. How do you spell his name? Okay,
It's right
Yeah,
there.
he's right there.
Antoine Villon. That's how you say it.
Vaillant.
Antoine Villon.
Vaillant.
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 Where he at?
Why these Canadians got funky names, man? They're white people.
Under 8 weeks.
Hey, how tall is Antoine? Like 6'1"?
Yeah, I think
No,
so.
like 5'11", like 5'11", 6 foot.
Yeah, like 5'11".
But he weighs a shit ton. Didn't I see him
That's
post
why
like
I'm asking. Because he's for a 300-pound bodybuilder, he doesn't look like he's 300 pounds. I know he has huge ass legs, but it's
that's what it is.
It's his legs.
Legs give you so much extra weight, bro. It's not even funny. It's kind of like Samson. That's why early on everybody was like, "There's no way Samson is that heavy." I think now he's at a point where he actually looks that heavy. But for the most part, early on, everybody would like, "Oh, he's not really that heavy," but he is. He just got, especially if you have big calves and big quads, it just adds so much weight, you know. Whereas having big arms, it doesn't add a lot of scale weight, you know.
What does
But
Hassan
having
weigh?
balanced
Like,
arms, what does that do?
what does Hassan weigh? Typical contest weight.
I want to say in the 250s, maybe. He's like he's shorter than
he's
he's like
super
5'6", like 5'6", no?
It's like
Pretty
five,
short.
five- pretty short. Okay, because I'm like, yeah, he's another guy that's like he looks heavy as fuck. You know,
Yeah.
he looks like he's 270.
Oh, but he got big legs too. Those legs, it gives you a lot of weight, man. It gives you a lot of weight. Okay. Speaking of legs, but
I was gonna
James,
say,
huh? What you gonna say?
you know when you're in a phase of prep where you're so productive and everything is just like happening. You're just like on. I feel like James is in that stage because the amount of posts that are coming out of this man's page,
Not
it's
stop,
like
yeah.
every hour.
Yeah, true.
He does, dude. He does a lot of posts. Period. Like he's always done that.
Bro, he looks good, man.
He looks
But speaking
great.
of James, he looks more balanced, right? It's like I don't know if his legs went down and his arms came up, or maybe his upper body just came up in general. I don't know what he exactly did, but he looks more balanced to me. No, he doesn't look bottom heavy like as he used to. Let me find a better one. Is it just me? He looks more proportionate.
No, I don't think his legs are smaller, but yeah, you're right. His arms definitely improved,
Came
and that
up.
was always
Yeah,
his
he
weak
was.
spot.
Yeah, I know he was a little, like you said, his legs are always a little bit heavier, but
Mhm.
I don't know what they're doing. I know he has an interesting setup with Milos this prep because I saw the podcast with Fuad where he said that Milos is kind of his consultant versus running the whole
Co-coach.
show. Yeah,
Yeah.
if you will. So like
Consultancy, $5,000.
That's about
but
What do you guys think about that? Like, you think like that's a good idea to co-coach?
I mean, it depends on, to me, I think it depends on the person, right? I mean, that's kind of how they did it in the 90s. Like, I know Sean Ray says, oh, he didn't have a coach, but he had people in his corner
Yeah, he did.
that he was passing things through, right? And he was a successful, pro. And a lot of guys did it like that in the 90s. So I don't think especially if you're so self-aware as a bodybuilder, James has been competing for a couple of years. Why
Mhm.
not? Why
Yeah,
not do it that way? I feel like this whole guru thing, um, we kind of make things kind of like a black and white, like it has to be this way in order for it to work. But there's several other ways that you can do this stuff. You know what I mean? So I think it works. If it worked for guys back then, I mean, go ahead. But if it doesn't work for you, maybe you go the full coaching route. So it just depends on the person.
Yeah, I mean,
To-
he's been doing this for a long time now. He knows what works. Like when you hear a guy who's like been competing for like a year or two, and he's like, "I know my body." No, dude, you don't. You don't know shit. But like James been doing this since he was a teenager, and he's in his like early 30s now. So, I mean,
So okay, let's say some of the '90s guys, right? Let's say Lee Priest. He'll say, "Well, you don't really need a coach. You could do it yourself, right? As long as you know your body, you've been doing it for a long time, right?" Now, would you say Lee Priest would be a lot better if he did have somebody, or it
I
would
don't
be the
think
same?
Lee Priest would enjoy having anyone tell him what to do.
Very,
There's a
very good point.
personality element there too.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah,
Very, very good
I don't.
point. Yeah.
I think it's based on the personality as well, because
Mhm.
some people are coachable. You know, you hear that word coachable, and some
Mhm.
people just aren't. You know, they want to have some creative input into how they want to present themselves on stage. So
Mhm.
a guy like me, I don't care. I want to win. You know, just
Mhm.
tell me. I know my body, but I rather you tell me what to do. I don't have to think, and I just
Yeah.
execute. Right. Versus some
Yeah.
other person may just say, you know what, I want to have creative input, and I have this vision for myself. And if you're my coach or you're my consultant and you don't see that same vision, then that's where we're going to clash. You know what I mean?
Mhm. When I used to hear Lee Priest say that, at least before, I don't think Lee Priest ever nailed it 100% his best, and I felt like maybe with a coach he could. But granted, if you look at the universe, like I think that was his last show, he had shredded glutes, so he was able to do it. I just don't. Maybe he didn't think that was his best look, or maybe he didn't care enough about. Because when he talks about it, it didn't seem like he cared that much about winning. You know,
That's what I was
and
gonna,
let's
that's what I
be
was going to say. He
yeah,
he he knew he was never going to win the Olympia. Let's be honest. It wasn't a 212. So
yeah,
at that point, I think he said it several times that for him, he just liked training. The competing
mhm,
part, he had to do it because that's how you get the sponsorships and that's how you actually make a living, right?
yeah,
So
mhm,
in his mind, if you're that kind of mentality, if I come top 10, that's good enough for me. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
okay.
So
So yeah. So let's say if you use that argument, well, if you worked with Chad, you would have had shredded glutes, right? But Lee, I believe Lee placed fifth, or maybe they changed it to sixth after the show, something like that. But his highest
yeah,
placement on record was fifth at the Olympia, I think.
fifth. Yeah.
So okay, if Lee has shredded glutes, does he all of a sudden beat Cormier, Ronnie, Kev? You know what I'm saying? Does he actually move up? Maybe, probably not. Let's be real, right? At 5'4", does he beat those guys? Probably not. So okay, with a coach, he probably would have still placed the same, but he probably would like Stu said, probably would have been miserable. Like, I don't want to listen to somebody. I want to do it my way. So to place the same, to do something you don't like anyways, would it have been worth it? Probably not. So he probably was better off doing it himself, really, you
And
know?
I think like let's be honest, like he wasn't too hot about the whole pro league and how it was
Yeah,
run.
good point.
That's
Yeah.
what got him kicked out of it eventually. So it's
Mhm.
hard to like put 110% into something that you believe is just inherently rigged.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're, like Ken said, he's not going to win the Olympia in that era. So that's got to take some wind out of your sails, to like really
Yeah.
want to kill yourself and diet that hard to get in that kind of conditions. Like for
100%.
what? For what?
Yeah.
And
Because
go
like,
ahead.
because like we're looking at the eras, right? Like you said a good word there, Stu. The eras. That was the mass era. Like, dude, if you weren't, 250, 260 on stage, forget about it. You're not coming, you're not winning that show with Ronnie on top. You're never gonna beat him. Versus now, I don't know about you guys, but for me, like for me to be able to put my 100% best, I have to feel like I have a chance to win, or I'm working like I want to win. You know what I mean? But if you have no chance, it's really hard, man. It's really hard. Like, and that's why, like, when people say, "Oh, there's no need for a 212 or all these other divisions," I think that's where you're wrong, because the people that are at the top of those divisions, they're the outliers, but everyone else, they need to be okay. I'm segueing. You can bring the divisions down a little bit, but for bodybuilding, 212 and open, I think it needs to be there, because some people just cannot. You cannot put a guy like Lee Priest next to Ronnie and expect him to win, 100% of the time. I think he beat him once in like, was it Iron Man or something? The one, the lead one? That was the only time he ever beat him. But Ronnie was like small during that show, from what I remember.
Yeah. I kind of understand the argument why people say, well, if you're good, you're good. But like you said, you can't take the 1%. Like just because, the 212 Olympia champion, could place well at the Olympia doesn't mean you get rid of a whole division, right? So
Yeah.
I don't think it's fair to say that. Like the divisions, they're not hurting anybody. If anything, they're adding to the sport. You can still choose to do whatever division you want to do. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I feel like that being said, the same for Sean Ray, right? Would Sean Ray, okay, he gets with a coach and he's 5-10% better. Does the 5% better Sean Ray beat Dorian or does he beat Ronnie? No, he still doesn't. Right.
Sean
So
was always really conditioned too. Like
he was.
his look for his body was like pretty spot on most of the times I remember seeing him. Like he
He
didn't
was on point.
fuck up his peak a lot, But he
And
was
that was
also 220 or something, right?
that was what I was
230.
going to say, Stu. That was his vision, right? Sean didn't actually want to keep putting on size. A lot of the knock on Sean was he looked the same throughout his entire career. Now, what if he worked with a coach that said, "Oh, Sean, we need to keep going up"? Well, he wants to stay that weight. That's his vision for what he thought bodybuilding should look like, and he was very vocal about that. You know what I mean? And he probably would have never looked the same. He may even have dropped in placements if he probably went up and maybe his waist got larger or something. So who knows? Who's to say?
I'm sure if Sean wanted to, he could have gained some muscle because
Yeah.
off season he would just fuck off. He wasn't like trying to bulk up or anything like that. He would just take his time, chill out, But is a bigger Sean Ray a better Sean Ray? I don't know if because he's not going to be as big as Ronnie, so he's just going to be. There was one year he tried to come in a little heavier, and he like Ken said, he dropped down in placing actually. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not his strength. Everybody isn't better, bigger. Some people are. I think maybe most people are, but not everybody is better, bigger. Sean Clavita came in bigger, but he didn't look better. You know what I'm saying? It kind of has to fit with your look. But speaking of better, bigger, this guy is better, bigger. Horse MD. Well, he was always open, but he tried to suck down the classic and it didn't work out. And I think he made the right choice because his waist is definitely bigger. I'll say that. But in the poses, they look good though. In the transitions, his waist looks big, but his waist looks great here to me. Because he has the sweep and the shoulder width. What you gotta think about this? The shoulder width, yeah. What you gotta think about this look right here?
It's a good look.
Yeah, his legs are nuts. His arms are pretty good too. His shape is really good. The first show, like the show he did late last year was, I mean, his back was still pretty behind and his conditioning was like okay. It wasn't terrible, but it was okay. So like, yeah, I think he's probably gonna get in trouble from behind, but the rest of him, like, it's very pretty to look at.
Do you guys feel like with him, the hardest thing I have is he looks awesome. But when I saw him on stage last year, like when I see these shots, right, he looks so aesthetic. But when I saw him on stage, he actually looked, I don't know if it's a posing thing or his waist was actually wider, like in the comparisons.
His
He
waist is
just
big.
didn't, right? Like I was like,
Yeah.
I was a little bit I was surprised because I've always just seen photos, so I couldn't really tell. Um, so I don't know. Maybe he can fix it with posing too. Kind of hide that a little bit because I think part of his strength is that classic look that he has. If he
Well,
loses that, then he's lost his game plan.
when it comes to his rear lat spread actually looks good, but his back double doesn't
Well,
look.
his rear lat spread is wide, but it's
Yeah.
not. There's not much density to it. Like he spreads it
No.
out and it's just flat.
Now, for his waist, I think he's a master of angles. When he hits the right angle, his waist looks good. but genetically speaking, his waist is not. Imagine if he crunched down on his abs in the front double, how wide his waist would look. That would not look good at all, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, when he poses the right way, it looks pretty good. I also think in the pictures we see, he's like flat waking up, so his stomach is tighter. But Milos usually carves people up pretty heavy. So I think maybe if they could find a different way to maybe fill him out earlier and then bring him in maybe on an empty stomach, that could make a huge difference because he's gonna need the smallest waist possible to really pull ahead of people.
He's put on a ton of muscle in the last few years, but I think like standing next to certain really big guys, he's gonna have trouble just in the density department.
Yeah, that's for sure. But his advantage right now is his legs for sure.
Crazy legs, yeah.
I don't want to say aesthetics because technically he's not actually aesthetic, but he has the illusion of being aesthetic. Good X-frame.
What does that mean? You're not aesthetic, but you look aesthetic.
Yeah,
find me again.
He can. There's some shots that he can make himself look like he has good shape, like the front double. But then when he hits the abs and thighs, you're like,
he has legit good shape. Yeah, it's because of the way that his waist flows out of his pelvis up into his lats. Like it's very graceful. I'm doing this a lot. I don't know why. But yeah, his lats don't like pop out quite as wide in his ab and thigh for some reason.
Yeah, when he hits the abs and thighs, his waist looks blocky, right? But maybe if he could pull the vacuum in the abs and thighs, maybe that could be a thing. He's like, it's weird because he's like aesthetic with a big waist. It doesn't really make sense, but
I mean, so was Jay.
It's possible.
Jay controlled his stomach, and it wasn't, even though his hips were quite wide, like it wasn't really to his detriment. It just made him look like a house, and he still had the taper and everything.
I think the wider horse gets, like once those shoulders start to really fill out, he'll maintain that aesthetic frame because now he's gotten bigger.
Look at that picture. Like you're gonna tell me that's not aesthetic? I couldn't pull that shit off. Jesus.
I couldn't even pull that pose. I'd snap my leg right there.
but that's the thing. In certain poses, he can appear aesthetic, but in some poses, it's like not so much. You know what I'm saying? Like imagine if he just came and just stood there like this, straight on, not in a pose. It doesn't look very, very nice. You know what I'm saying? But that doesn't matter as much as the poses, because the poses are what's being judged. You know what I'm saying? So as long as you look aesthetic in the poses, that's really all you need to do. You know what I'm saying? The only pose he doesn't look aesthetic in, I would say, is the abs and thighs. Let me look at this one more time. I would say abs and thighs is the only thing that kind of, okay, walking out, like him just walking out, his waist looks pretty bad. Once he pulls this, boom, that looks good. It's not narrow though. It's still not a narrow waist, but it looks good. It looks aesthetic. This, I don't like how the abs and thighs look. That's a better angle, but still, I don't like how that looks. From the side, that looks good. That looks good. From the back, we know how the back looks. So yeah, pretty much all the shots, other than when he's not pulling his waist up, basically, right? He pulled the waist up, it looks good. But we could say that about a lot of people. Keon is super aesthetic, but if he's not pulling, think about it. When Keon is like not pulling his waist up, which he almost never isn't doing because he knows it doesn't look that good, you know. So it's really how you pose. That's the most important part. If Keon flexes down, you don't want to see that. You know what I'm saying? You don't really want to see what that looks like.
I think Keon's is because of his abdominal
wall,
structure of his abdominal wall, right? Versus his actual waist is small. It's just his abdominal wall is separated. That's why.
I think it's only small when he pulls up still, because crunched down, I don't think his waist looks that small because he has a short waist. Let me pull up Keon, but I don't think he's not gonna show show his waist looking wide. But when he
Bro, you never
flexes
see that
down,
waist on his page, bro. You never see it.
yeah, he's not gonna
It's
show
not
it,
gonna
bro,
be
sure.
there.
But nobody will look at Keon and say Keon doesn't have a tiny waist. Keon has you know what I'm saying? Because it's like
I'm just
it matters.
like when
It
you
matters what you. Huh?
when you see him walking out, right? So like look at his waist
That's the
there
only time.
versus
Yeah,
when you and look at how his lats flare out from there. His
yeah, it's
waist is
crazy.
actually still small. And when you see him walking out, just walking out to do his routine, or even from the back here, obviously he's not pulling a vacuum. His waist is actually still small. It's just the
And actually in the back.
abdominal. Yeah, it's just the
So
abdominal.
if Horse could grow his lats like this, that would benefit him a lot, right?
You could
Because
just look like
he's-
Keon. You could just look like Mr. Olympia.
Dude, this shape is crazy, man. Like Keon's
insane,
shape
yeah.
it's insane.
It's
It's insane.
It's insane. And like lucky for him, he's so interposing that he accentuates it times 10. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because imagine if he was a lazy poser and he's kind of just like, but he makes it look that much better to the point that it looks insane.
How long do you think till he goes to open?
I don't think he'll go to open.
I think he
He's-
will.
He's still below the weight limit for
Significantly.
for
Yeah.
212. Yeah.
110%, he's definitely gonna go to open at some point. 110%.
Yeah, I believe he's even said
100%.
something like that.
He did. Yeah, he said without a doubt he's going to open.
Please
But
don't.
he's gonna. I don't think that's gonna be like soon. I don't think that's gonna be like in the next 3 years.
I think everybody in the 212 at some point, say you're winning it, they want to do the open because even though they're Mr. Olympia 212, there's only one real Mr. Olympia, like the top of the top. And I think it's almost like you're not satisfied until you at least give it a go.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he'll test the waters, right? So like Sean Clarita's tested the
Just
waters,
like Sean,
Kamal has
yeah.
tested the waters. If he like Derek tested the waters and he saw, during that guest posing that he was actually big enough to stand with the rest of them. So, Keon may do the same maybe after, 3 or 4 titles. But now if he does that and, he doesn't look as big, he's not going to do open. There, especially when you become a champion. To start from the ground again, all the way up at that stage, I don't know, man. I don't know.
See, okay, I don't think he will be starting from the ground per se, because okay, here's one thing, right? So Derek beat Sean right off of shape. Keon beat Sean off of shape. So the only thing that would hold Keon back and open would be size, right? Because the shape is going to be better than everybody else. Now, Keon hasn't actually tried to put on size yet. I don't know if you noticed, but he doesn't have off seasons per se. He just eats like a clean diet, and he doesn't push the food at all. The food this last off season, the food was relatively low, right? He was trying to keep his weight down for whatever reason. He's trying to keep his weight down. I think Keon is such a freak. I think his body would explode. Because once he stopped keeping his waist down for Classic, without even stepping on the gas, he fucking tripled in size. I think for the open, I don't think it'll be as dramatic, but I think once he lets that go of I have to stay a certain weight, I think he will have no trouble putting on size personally. And once he puts on size, I don't think there's anything else that can hold him back as long as he's willing to eat the food. And,
I mean, bro, like Sean Clarita's 5'1", and
he got
he's
6
maxed out in muscle. Like Keon is
so much
his
more
shape alone will carry more mass better than Sean's could ever. And so, and Sean placed as high as what 4th at the Arnold, I think.
I think 5th.
But still, like with that said, like now imagine Keon's ceiling. Like he can get pretty up there.
Have you guys seen Keon in person?
No.
Seen Sean in person.
Keon is extremely wide, and also he looks way bigger than he is. The last time I saw him in person, he was maybe 220. He looked like he was 270. It's like the illusion he creates is stupid. Even here on stage, I don't think he was very heavy, but he looked he looked like he maxed out the division, you know,
I think he was like
muscle
20,
wise.
was like 205. And the reason why they're not pushing up, they didn't push up for his offseason is because they've been working on his conditioning, you know. So
Yeah,
that's why
smart, very smart.
he stayed a little bit tired. But I agree with you guys. What you guys
Yeah,
said makes sense, you know. It makes sense.
yeah. Well, obviously, like we said with like Flex Lewis, if he brings in this exact same look at this weight, then he's not going to be like towards the top of the lineup. But he adds, which I think he's capable of. If he adds 20 pounds, you know, even 10, 15 pounds, then I mean, the sky's the limit, man. The
I
sky's the
was gonna say
limit.
even
But
10 pounds is gonna be a remarkable look. Like
yeah,
he'll do really well with just 10.
well, he can add 10 pounds and stay in the 212 division, which is crazy, right?
But
Because
I'm saying, yeah, exactly. That's exactly
yeah,
what I'm saying.
that's so insane. So as far as 212 goes, I mean, if he's improving, then he's untouchable, right? Because this wasn't even like this was his best condition yet, but he can get even more peeled, and he can be 8 pounds heavier. So I mean, he's gonna dominate this division, and then who knows what he's gonna do in the
It's
open.
like even for example, Chris Bumstead.
Mm-hmm.
The only reason he couldn't go to open was because of his health issues. Like, even though he's going to be the best, you know, classic physique of all time, pretty much, he's still. I know we all know part of him would really want to do that, but he just can't.
For sure. And there's only one Mr. Olympia. I feel like that's getting lost throughout the years. There's no several Mr. Olympias. You have your 212 Olympia champion, you have your classic physique Olympia champion, you have your men's physique Olympia champion. Mr. Olympia is reserved for only the open guy. So I feel like
semantics are important in this case.
110%, because I saw a video with Ryan Terry, and it was like I don't think it was his actual video. I don't think he made the video like title, but it was like Mr. Olympia, whatever training, and I'm like,
hold up.
hold up. There's one Mr. Olympia, you know, and that happens to Bumstead a lot. And Bumstead obviously is going to be the classic GOAT, but that's not Mr. Olympia. That's the classic physique.
I think even Flex Lewis said it himself.
He did say it, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, bro, like it's just what's known. That's just the thing. It is what it is.
I got a question for you guys. I mean, every other division that like 212 classic physique, you know, Olympia wise, they've, you know, this question has always come up, and the reigning champion at that point, since Flex Lewis till now, it has always been a case of, oh, you know, are they going to go to open? Now, Derek is the only one we've ever seen that's been successful at that, and because he was holding himself back into 212, it was so obvious on his physique. But do you guys think when a lot of these guys say that they want to compete in the open, that they really want to commit to that path long term? Like, even if they've done 3 or 4 Olympias, they're now competing in the open, but they're not winning, right? They're not coming top 5. Do you think that's a case that they will still continue to push forth in the open, or at that point you may just call it a day? You know, because it's very hard to. What I'm trying to say is it's very hard to be a champion, you know, dominate your division, go somewhere else, and yeah, you're not losing, but you're not winning either. It's very hard to accept that. You know what I mean?
Well, I
So
mean,
do you guys,
there's so
what do
much
you guys
more.
think?
There's so much more visibility on the open.
Yeah.
Like, we're hardcore fans, so like we follow the 212, but I could name way less 212 guys than I could open guys, just being
It's
honest.
true.
And also, like, if you get like 4th place in the open show, you're making as much as the winner of 212.
Yeah.
So it's like 3rd, 4th, you know. So like the massive amount of folks. I mean, what's his name? John Jewett did the open show this year, and one of the reasons he said was because he wanted more visibility, because people don't follow 212 as close. I mean,
Look how much more popular. Look how much more popular John is. Literally from that one show he did, he's so much more popular than 6 years of 212, right?
Yeah.
Was he in people? Was he on Nick Strength and Power and all these channels when he was in 212? No, he wasn't. You know, and he won 212 shows. He didn't even win the open show. Think about that. He got second.
Those are facts.
you know, and he's more popular from getting second place at the Legion than winning 212 shows and going to Olympia and placing as high as what, fourth one year?
Yeah, you got four.
Think about
Yeah.
that. Think
That's
about
true.
that. So yeah, it's a but being champion is different though. If you had to choose champion or 10th place at the Open, that's one thing. Now, if you have to choose between being like a top 3 and top 10 in the Open, I would just go top 10 in the Open personally. But the champion is still the champion. So there's a trade-off. Now, if you know you could be top 5 rather than the champion, I would probably go top 5.
That's what I'm
I think
saying. That's exactly what I'm saying.
I think any true like athlete, you're on a competitive level, you're always gonna go what makes sense until you win, and then once you hit that point, you're never going to be satisfied until you push yourself farther. Because a competitive athlete wants to be the best of the best. So
Yeah.
it's like Sean, like I said, like he won the 212 twice, and it's like it's almost like fuck, like okay, I can rack these up, but I still don't feel like I'm not challenging myself anymore to a certain point. Like I want to go to the next level.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
I actually asked Nick this question, but if you guys were in Nick's shoes, would you ever do an Arnold Classic again before let's say you don't have Olympia yet? Would you continue to do the Arnolds, or would you completely shut it down until you won Olympia?
I think I'll still do Arnold's. I like Jay
Okay.
did it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of value in like showing your face and competing a lot. Like if you found your cruising speed as a pro, like okay, this is about where I'm placing. It's pretty good. It's people know who I am. Get my name out there. Then you're probably not going to hop up 5 places in the Open if you go to the Olympia. That if you take a whole year off. I mean, once you've gotten to that point, like why not compete more? Again,
Okay, well,
Ian comes to mind. Like Ian was pretty, his physique was very consistent. He wasn't getting a much bigger, much smaller. Like he kind of found his spot, So he did the Arnold's, and then you did the Olympia, and then you compete a few times throughout the year, and just keep on doing the career bodybuilding thing. At the very top, it's different, but
Okay. And I feel like there's something to be said too about the momentum of winning an Arnold and going into the Olympia. Now statistically, we've seen that Arnold champions tend to do worse after they've done the Arnold, right? The same year. But I think that there is also a legacy you are building. It may not be the Olympia, and I know the Olympia is the end all be all, but there is a legacy that you're also building along when you do the Arnold. So Samson, let's say Samson never wins the Olympia for the next 5 years, but he wins 3 or 4 Arnolds. It's still a legacy. At least me personally, I would make sure one, you're still getting all the benefits. You're not really taking a loss. You're already a top 3 bodybuilder. You're still getting all the benefits plus the money, and you're also building a legacy at the end of the day. Because the Olympia is not, none of these shows are guaranteed, but at least you have a solid chance, 1 or 2 for the Arnold versus 1 to 3 or 1 to 4, depending on who shows up. So me personally, I would still do them because, like Stu said, the variance of where you're gonna place if you do that one show during the year, it's not like you're trying to qualify. You don't need to qualify. So you're doing that one show early in the year, and then you wait till the rest of the year to do the Olympia. I don't think you're taking away. I don't think it takes anything away. You only have more to gain, in my opinion.
you
so
got 7 months between the Arnold and the Olympia. That's
Yeah.
a long time. If you can't
Okay,
figure that out with your prep and like give yourself a break in there, like you need to figure that out,
one sec though, right? But you guys made a distinction. You said if it was me or Stu said, like for Ian, for example, since you already know your placing, you're like a career bodybuilder, you're like whether you're 5th place, whatever, right? That makes perfect sense, right? You want to build your brand, you're gonna win some good money with the case, whatever the case is, right? But I'm saying specifically, if you were actually Nick Walker, not like you're like a really good bodybuilder.
Oh, okay. So if
know,
you're
so
actually really good.
if you were actually in Nick's position where you're a top 3 bodybuilder and you only pretty much have one step to go. You don't need the money. Nick got some money, and on top of that, you don't need notoriety because Nick is the most popular American bodybuilder. I don't think it's arguable. It's him and Derek Lunsford, but I think yeah, that's what I'm saying, right?
It's him.
So
Yeah.
you're already the most popular. You're probably the most successful financially. I mean, if you do the math,
Here's what I would say.
I mean,
Here's what I would say, Bitey. I would. This is if I was Nick, this was me personally, and I'm not Nick clearly because I'm not top 3 in the world. So take my advice in a grain of salt, right? But I would probably give it 2 attempts with this method, right? So 2 attempts of I would not, do an Arnold. I would just put everything into the Olympia. If I don't win it in 2 shots, at that point, I'm doing the Arnolds and I'm still continuing the Olympia because there is still something to be said at the end of your career. I'm sorry, when we look at prior history, right? You look at Dennis Wolf. Dennis Wolf placed 3rd how many times at the Olympia, but everyone remembers Dennis Wolf for winning his Arnold titles. So you still have to consider your legacy at the end of everything. Like we said, it's not guaranteed. Nothing is guaranteed, but if you have a probable shot to actually win that Arnold title, I would go for it. But at least I would give the Olympia, maybe I would give everything for the Olympia for like 2 shots. And then if I don't get it in those 2, I would say, okay, you know what? I need to start considering legacy building and go from there.
Because one way to look at it, you could be like, I could say, okay, there's no guarantee you're gonna win the Olympia, so might as well do the Arnold. But we all know Nick doesn't think like that, because I can say, well, what if you never win the Olympia? That don't cross Nick's mind. Nick is like, I'm gonna fucking win it, and because he, and because he thinks that way, he may actually win the Olympia, literally because of the way he thinks, right? When he said he was gonna win the Arnold, I gotta be honest, we all were kind of like, your first time, bro. We kind of like, you sure?
Dude, the New York Pro. I was like, when you said he was gonna win the New York Pro, I was like, I don't know. I think Bonac was supposed to compete there too that year.
Justin, even Justin back then, Justin Rodriguez was the shit.
Yeah.
So we was like,
I don't know.
I was like, I mean, you good, bro, but I don't know. And then we were like, oh shit, damn.
That was basically his rookie season too. Like,
yeah.
Pro North Americans, they did Chicago like 4 weeks later, and he got fourth there.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
If you watch at Chicago, he was shredded, bro. Honestly, maybe if he posed the way he posed now, he would have played higher.
For sure. It was a posing name for sure.
But even then, no disrespect to anybody there, he still should have played higher. But also, he just turned pro. It's always a little harder when he just turned pro for sure. Like literally a couple weeks before. But going back to the topic, so Nick doesn't think that way. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's fair to say, okay, next 2 years, I'm gonna give it everything for Mr. O. To go back to nothing's guaranteed. Look at this year, perfect prep. He was his all-time best, and he couldn't do the show, right? So like letting years pass, two years is fair. At his age, 2 years all in, that's fair. But once those 2 years pass, now you got to be like, okay, whether this happens or not, I got to get these first. I got to get these checks because these Arnold checks is big. I got to build my legacy. You know what I'm saying? Even the Arnold wins aren't guaranteed. Listen, this league is not the elite. This is the pro league. I mean, motherfuckers come correct. You know what I'm saying? So nothing is guaranteed. So once you give it those 2 years, then you say, fuck this. I'm going to go take these Arnolds. And you can still win the Olympia. It's not like it's impossible. Yeah. You could still win the Arnold, win the Olympia. So I think what Ken said, I think that's perfect. Literally 2 years. I think 1 year is maybe too short. 3 years is starting to push it because now time is flying. I think 2 years. I couldn't have said it better myself. I think 2 years is perfect.
I'm really on the same page as Ken. I think if you're in the running to win something, and like you've only attempted, like you said, like once or twice, third time's a fucking charm, right? But I would I did that pretty much for USA's, right? People wanted me to do a show right away, or I was even told, hey, you want to do like a warm-up show like a couple weeks before the USA's? I'm like, nah, man, I'm all in on one show. Like, I gave myself 14 months in between shows, but I was in my mind in the running to win the whole thing, kind of thing. So But I mean, shit, if you take second, third so many times, you like you said, it's kind of like, well, fuck, I might as well do some other shit too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I went to Fit Nation gym 6 weeks out. You know, just trying to keep an eye on the competition or on the ops. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, hey, hey, Joe, you want to hit a shoulder workout? Let's get a little shoulders. I come to that bitch. I thought it was Jay Cutler in that bitch working out. I said, what the? I said, what the fuck is that? Because the last time he didn't look like that. So I'm like, what the fuck am I looking at? And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. You doing the heavies, right? He's like, I think I'm heavy. I might do the supers, you know, because my weight isn't dropping, but I'm ready. And I'm like, oh yeah, you sure you want to do supers, you know? But I mean, once I saw that, I actually went and told Paul, I was like, he's gonna win overall. You know, like I'm a realist, right? When I see it, I fucking know what I'm looking at. You know, when I see it, I see it. So I'm like, yeah, he's gonna win overall. You know what I'm saying? So that's
I don't look like a bodybuilder in my off season. That's why.
That's why it's hard to tell.
Oh, this guy, he blew his waist out. He's just fat. Like it is what it is.
You would
okay, guys.
Him and Levi competing.
Yeah, man. Deep all year round.
Yeah, because if you hadn't already done it so many times, the question would be like, well, is he going to be shredded? You're going to be like, is this guy going to be shredded? You know, and then you already did it a bunch of times. So now I think now people, it's like, oh, you remember when Nathan Diasha posted that video at 300 pounds? Everybody's like, oh my God, he looks like shit.
Right?
He's not. You're gonna tell me Nathan is not gonna be shredded, bro? Like, let's be real. How many times have Nathan? What are we talking about here? Like Nathan gets in shape in 6 weeks. Like, of course he's gonna be shredded. Like, you know, it's more about people know their bodies. Once you've done it a handful of times, you kind of know the time frame.
There's certain things I do in the off season that I don't do in prep. Like I run less stuff, and I rely solely on food and training. I don't even do cardio usually halfway through the off season. So it's there's so many tools in the arsenal that you throw my way during prep that my body just responds super fast to whatever. I get real dry, like the cardio being implemented, I just drop like crazy. So it's just, I'm sure Nathan's the same way because he goes from no diet plan, drinking and partying to
good point.
All in. That's pretty much, I don't drink and party and shit, but it's very similar.
Yeah. What's the fattest you guys, Ken and Stu? What's the fattest you guys ever got off season?
Oh, that was the first time I hit 250 back in like 2018. Bro, so I was doing like chocolate milk, like blended shake. So I'd put like a quarter gallon chocolate milk.
Stu Sulik.
Been doing it for a minute here. So I would do like oats, peanut butter, protein powder, and chocolate milk. And I'd have like 2 of those a day. So like morning and evening, like my first and last meal. Then I'd have like a bunch of chicken and rice in between. Bro, I farted so much. It was disgusting. But like if it worked, you know, I had to get my weight up, you know, for the first time. And then the next time I hit 250, it was way easier. And
you know, for me, it was somebody, one of Justin's clients actually asked me about that. He's like, dude, I'm so afraid to get fat. I'm like, first of all, Justin won't let you get fat as fuck. Like, you'll look kind of soft, but he'll only let you get so far. But you need to look, you need to touch your weight to be able to grow into that weight. You're not going to look pretty first time. Your body has to know how to get there. So it always looks ugly at first.
Yeah,
if I were you, Stu looks great at 285 right now. He's fucking like he's not show condition, but he looks fucking great. I guarantee you that when he was 295. Last offseason or whatever, he probably looked like shit to himself. Like,
well, 2 years ago, the first time I hit 280, 282-ish, it was like I was big, I was strong, but like fuck, dude, there's a lot more water on me. There's a lot more fat, see that. There's a lot more shit.
That's where I'm at right now. I hit 302, but it's not pretty, but it was necessary. So now the next time I get to the 290s or whatever, it should be more of a crisp off-season look, like more of a pro off-season look than the first time you're touching it.
Yeah, because for me, Joe, Bidey, you may as well pull up my coach's page because it's on there. When I hit 260. But first I hit 260 and put up Andrew Vu's page. And that was pretty much I'll be honest, I didn't think I could look that soft. It was very
Oh boy.
it's not something I'm used to. Let's just say that. Keep
Bro,
going
I
down.
look in the mirror sometimes and I'm like, God damn it, Joe, what happened?
Right there at the top. Yep. Middle.
Oh shit!
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't
yeah,
think I
different.
could look that soft. You know
Oh,
what
you
I
got
mean?
the cheeseburger tits and everything.
Dude, everything
you look
was
like Sean
everything was,
Roden.
dude, everything was flopping. You know, we were just pushing food. It was just completely pushing food, and just training, right? And my weight just kept going up. You know what I mean? And by the end, I was like, I don't know, man. I don't know what's gonna happen this North Americans. You sure we're gonna be ready? You know?
Hey,
Bro, I'm worse than that. My lower
yeah,
popping out and shit.
no, but his waist diameter is still good. You know, like
Yeah.
like the space his waist takes up actually isn't bad. Like he said, he looks soft, but not. There's a difference between soft and fat, right?
I'm just
But-
thinking like the hell you had to go through to do that. Like you were doing 2 hours of cardio, right?
Dude, I was doing 60 in the morning, 60 posts at the
Shit.
top of everything, both, and I was doing stairs for both of them.
Fuck that.
Oh my God.
You
How
look
did your
way
legs
better now
fold?
though. Like, cause you're like
Yeah.
what, 5
Yeah.
months post show now. 4 or
Yeah,
5?
and like you guys were saying, right? I'm now like I just weighed myself today. I'm 253, but I look so much different. I'm still tighter. Still, you've seen some of my shots. Like I'm
And
way
you've
tighter.
been, just so everybody knows, he's been like clean since then, since the show.
Yeah,
Everything. So
yeah. I started back up at this first week of January. So I'm 2 weeks in to my off season.
Wait. So North Americans was when August?
end of
Yeah,
August,
like end of August.
So
Yeah.
so let's say like September, October, November, December. Okay, so like what 3? You took like
4
what,
months.
like
4
4 months?
Yeah.
That's that damn shark cartilage, you know, keeping him full. No,
Yeah.
but 4 months, like because you're gonna take the year off, right?
Yeah, we're taking a full year. Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel like if you know you have a full year off, make sure you're 100% like pristine before you make that hard push, because you have the time, and then you know that in the near future you won't have that much time to come off, right? So like start it clean so that when you have less time, when you only have 8 weeks to come off, that your blood work is still going to be fine because you took that time off, kind of, earlier,
because we didn't really have much time last year, to be honest. Like I started with Andrew 23rd of December. Nationals was like 2 weeks prior, so we did like a rebound, obviously, like towards the end of the off season. Of course, like I was completely off, but we did that. We cruised for a bit, and then we went straight into the prep for North American. So we didn't have that much time.
Wait, from Nationals 2022 to peak off season, that picture that we just saw, you got that soft? How long was that?
That's pretty fast.
Was
right?
like, it was fast, dude. It was
like
fast
3
because we were
months?
pushing so much food. Yeah, it was like 3 months.
Oh my God.
3 months.
Well, it worked.
Damn. Yeah, you put on muscle, obviously, but like, fuck, dude.
Yeah.
You got to be careful.
Yeah. Dude, I told you guys, man. Like, it's because I was telling you guys, I do cardio. I still do cardio now. 35-minute stairs, 5 days a week, dude. I stop everything, man. Like, bro, I could look at bread and put on 10 pounds. Like, that's that's
See,
it.
One of the issues is this though, right? Because that's last year. So in my head, I'm like, I'm tired of doing all this cardio, eating so little food. So let me stay lighter, no 300 pounds. Let's stay like 280. Yeah, that's good. And the prep was still fucking hard. So it's like, part of me is like, like almost what's the point? Like once you need to get in show condition, is you're gonna suffer regardless. Like Stu
If you're
looks
black.
fucking.
if you're black.
Yeah.
Joe and I,
I don't know. Stu, I'm
It's
not
true,
black.
man.
Oh,
Stu's
yeah.
not wrong. Stu's not wrong, dude.
I'm
Stu is
noticing
not
a
wrong.
pattern here. I'm just pointing it out.
Joe got some Latin in him too, so Joe is a little harder.
I must. My older brothers have black, so it had to somehow.
Oh, you see? No. Okay, well, what I think it is that if you're somebody who needs very low food and high cardio to get in shape, you're gonna need it whether you have 15 pounds of fat to lose or 30 pounds of fat to lose. You know what I'm saying? So one thing I noticed is that
have 15 pounds of fat to lose, but
But
yeah,
but
it's always going to suck to some extent.
always
because Bitey,
mhm.
Bitey for you, I think you pretty much have to do, because we were just talking about Keon earlier. I feel like you have to do the Keon method, man, because Keon used to have crazier off seasons before he started working with Patrick Tour. And anyone that knows Patrick, it's his way or the highway, right? So Patrick doesn't want cheating in the off season. He doesn't want any of that stuff. So Keon was forced to like really eat clean. He stayed relatively lean throughout his off season, and this is the most shredded he's ever been. So I feel like you may have to, copy that strategy, and see if that probably works. Because I know for me now, I don't know Andrew's long-term plan for me, but I can't imagine that I'm going to look anything like that for the rest of my off season for this year. I think he's always going to keep me within striking distance. So some people like Joe can keep pushing up, and he'll shred down in 13 weeks with 30 minutes of cardio. And some of us,
oh no, bro, it's gonna be 2 hours. Watch. It's gonna be like 2.5 hours.
When Joe starts smiling on the podcast, that's why you know it's real.
Well, to be honest, I'm watching Beatty's face talking about a clean off season the whole way through, and I'm like, it's gonna go in one ear out the other. Like, fuck all that. That's stupid as fuck.
No, it's. I think there's okay. Look at the, like Stu said. If you look at the black guys, right? Look at the black guys. Look at the black guys that come in really hard. The one thing they have in common is they stay leaner in the off season, though, right? Because something about the way like black guys look. If you go, it's harder to look harder, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Like Akeem could have low body fat, but you're looking at Akeem and be like, I don't know. I feel like you still need to be harder somewhere. I don't know why, but you still need to. But Akeem gets pretty big off season, right? And you look at somebody like William Bonac, not that he isn't big, but he's in pretty good shape. And then he comes in shape. You know what I'm saying? So or same thing with the what's the guy that he had a really good year a couple years ago? Patrick
Moore?
Patrick something. Johnson.
Patrick Johnson.
So nobody knew who he was because he didn't come in shape before. And he goes to Kuwait and they keep him leaner. And then everybody's like, oh, it looked like you gained 20 pounds of muscle. How much did you gain? He said, no, I'm lighter. He said, I've never been this light on stage. They're like, what the fuck? Because he looked huge, right? But that's the thing. He stayed lighter and leaner, and he came in leaner. So it's like, in my head, I'm like, well, the judges said, I need more tissue. So let me get even heavier. But the truth is that what it takes to get that fat off, I come in flatter, right? It's weird. You would think you would be bigger.
Because you're going to punish yourself so hard. Even if you grow that muscle during that off season, fresh muscle build is the first to go if you push super hard during the prep, right? So you may end up just looking the same or even worse sometimes. Like there's a point where the push is just way too hard and your look starts to get compromised. You know what I mean? So like I feel like for you, people like for like me, for you, black guys, maybe, I don't know. I don't want to put a brush, but I think it's just better to just keep it a little bit tighter, during the off season. I think we benefit better from
guys like Joe and I will hit that point too. Like it's from pushing too hard for too long, but we hit that point way sooner. Like things move quicker, I think, and you have to like really be on top of yourself and be like, oh shit, I've been flat as shit for like 5 days straight. This could be a problem now.
That's what started happening towards the end of the USA prep. Because Beatty saw me 6 weeks out. I was damn near 2 weeks out at 6 weeks out. And I didn't know what we had to do or what we were going to do. but Justin had a way of like refeeding me when I absolutely had to the point where I was about to start really sacrificing a lot of my actual muscle tissue.
Yeah.
Because he wanted me to be a heavyweight.
To be honest, like Justin is he likes his clients to be perfect, right? You know, super perfect. Any other coach, the way you look 6 weeks out, honestly, they probably would have kept you there. They probably would have left you like that, give you a half a diazide, and put you on stage, right? Justin, he wants Justin's idea is for you to be inside out every time. Like that's his idea. You'll be like, oh yeah, you'll take pictures. You'll be like, woo. He'll be like, yeah, we're gonna drop the carb from meal 2, and you're like, what? You gonna drop the carb? What the fuck? like he'll just keep pushing it. Like he'll push it until literally he can't. He'll be like, okay, now there's no way I could push you any more than that. But he'll go for it, you know. But it works.
Yeah, like, his words to me were, "We took out 10 pounds we didn't need to, and that's my fault." I'm like, you know how much 10 pounds fucking feels like?
But he's kind of the same way. He'd much rather you be just inside out than full. Like with me, I'm kind of an exception because like the first prep I did with him, we pushed too hard for too long, and it ended up not being good. But that was the first time I'd ever really been in true condition. So I'd hit that point finally. And then in, you know, future preps, like we were more kind of off and on kind of thing. This year, I'm going to just be pushing harder for longer period because I think I can handle it now.
We've never seen. Oh, my bad. What you say again?
I was gonna say because a lot of top level coaches, right? They kind of have that experience from, especially from the Olympia level or pro stage level. So to me, I look skinless, but you know when those lights hit you, you know you start to see it's different, right? Some of those spots that you think you're lean, it's not there. So they'll just keep pushing, bro, till there's nothing left. You know, till there's nothing left.
It's like it's a mind fuck, bro. It's a mind fuck, bro. But it happens to everybody to a certain extent. But like you in that hotel room, you'll be like, oh shit, oh, them lights hit you. It's a little different. You'll be like, I had a little over here that I didn't see that. I didn't see that in the hotel room. You know,
at 3 weeks out to New Jersey states, so not even North America. North Americans was 5 weeks. Dude, I was peeled. I was like, I think there was a video on my page, but I was peeled. I was like, I'm ready to go. Yeah. Bro, my next check-in, he cut my food again. I'm like, bro, I'm peeled. Like, no, I'm gonna keep going. I'm like, what?
Didn't I tell you that story, bro? I was on the treadmill and he added cardio and took away food, saying, okay, we're gonna push a little farther. And I literally just got done telling Paul, hey dog, this is it. This is the look. And he pushed me farther. I went numb, bro. I just put the time up.
Yeah. Nobody, no amateur has ever lost for being too shredded. Now, pro ranks is a little different because that's more of the balance of fullness and condition. Yeah. But as an amateur, every single time somebody loses the overall, it's 99% of the time is because the other guy was a little bit sharper, you know.
Except for this year nationals.
Good point. Very, very good point, actually.
Be careful. Be careful.
Hey. Wore my shirt.
But like every year, it's always like, oh yeah, he was a little bit tighter. He was a little bit tighter. He was a little bit tighter. Hey, just be shredded, man. And everything else is gonna fall where it is, you know. Too bad for Wyatt. It didn't work out for him. but I mean, he's the guy who's pro card though. He's the guy who's pro card.
Smiled more.
Yeah, smile. All right, we've been on for a minute. You guys want to get to the questions?
We probably should.
We're all physique critiques now, huh?
Bro, you know how that goes. But before we get to the questions, I wanted to acknowledge something that I wasn't aware it just happened. Where is he? Derek Lunsford. I don't know.
Baby.
Yeah, I didn't know why.
I didn't have it, but
well,
all this
was there.
all this cringe shit they be posting on all these pages. Nobody thought to post something as important as Derek having a baby. You know what I'm saying? They'll post, well, how would Sebum do against Arnold? You know, like the fuck. Post some shit like this. Post some shit like this sometimes. Like people do want to see shit like this. This is a wholesome story. You know, congrats to Derek Lunsford.
Yo,
for
hit that
having a
like,
bit-
bro. Hit that
Oh yeah,
like.
wait a
Come
like
on.
button.
Yeah, come on.
Congrats-
Show some
congrats to
respect,
Derek.
lady. What the fuck?
Asshole.
You
Congrats
over
to
here
Derek,
hating on
man.
all the bodybuilding.
This is dope, man. You know, he's
Yeah.
Mr. Olympia and he got a baby. Yeah,
Picture Miss Olympia right there.
yeah. Yeah. Well, definitely gonna have great legs, that's for sure.
Fuck yeah.
Hey, speaking of Olympia children,
Yeah.
dude, Sean's baby is not even a year old yet, and that kid is big. Like, like his daughter is like big already.
Can I
Clarita?
find this?
Yeah, Sean Clarita. Yeah,
Can I find
Well,
this
his
baby?
wife's pretty tall, right?
Yeah, she is
Yeah,
actually.
yeah. She's tall. She's tall.
Let's see. How old is the baby?
I think like 8 or 9 months now.
It's pretty new, baby.
Like,
Is
look
this
at that
baby?
head of hair.
Hey,
Yeah.
oh, it's cute. It's
Oh.
a cute baby.
Oh,
Looks
look at the little guy.
it looks like a grown baby.
I know.
Ah, that's a cute
grown
baby.
baby.
She's not even a year old, man. It's crazy.
He's adorable.
Look at Jay down there. He's like, that's why she's the size of a 3-year-old.
That's hilarious. Oh, she's having
Wait, is
mega
that a
fit meals
black
already.
Santa Claus?
She's already having mega fit meals, dude. Like,
Yeah. Oh look, black Santa Claus. Black Santa Claus pajama.
It's really
Black
right.
Santa.
yo,
Oh
yo,
man,
shout out
that's
to Sean
hilarious.
Clarita too, man. Shout out to Sean Clarita too.
Shout
This
out
is
to
awesome.
Sean. This is great. Yeah, that's. Hey, honestly, I fucking wish some of these bodybuilding pages would post shit like this too, instead of like they posted a thing with Sean. Oh, look at his biceps. Is this synthol? I'm like, oh my god, bro. We're not doing it. We're not doing this. We're not having this debate. Like shit like that. Sometimes it gets a little annoying. Like,
Yeah.
I do like the fact that we have more bodybuilding pages because that's good for the sport. But some of the shit they talk about, bro, is so stupid, bro. It's honestly fucking stupid. You know. Okay. Get into questions. I don't think I want to do any rate my physiques today. If we do,
They
maybe
look
one.
like
Man.
shit. I want to rip on somebody.
Because the more we do it, now I get DMs about like the people's physiques. You know, the
I
more we
missed
do
that.
it,
people
I
have, like-
missed that one.
Yeah. We actually, Justin Grinberg, we rated his
He was-
physique, and
he was good.
he's legit.
He
He's
was
a teen nationals champ. I think
Yeah.
he's like, what, 20 now? 19 or 20?
Oh, I saw that.
I
That,
think he's
that kid
19.
looked good.
Yeah,
He looked
he's
good.
insanely good. He's going to be
Kid
good.
looked good.
good. No, he's gonna be really good.
Most people do not look like Justin, and it would be a bloodbath. But yeah, I've also been getting people, just like random dudes who will DM me, and like they're like, I think I'd be good on the podcast. I'm like, I don't know you.
somebody Somebody said that today as well. Somebody
Like
said
that's so forward, man. You're just inviting yourself on. Like, and I feel weird, like just saying no. You know,
That's like
because then
telling
I'm an
somebody you're
asshole.
funny. Oh, I'm a funny guy. You know, the bucket.
I'll be the judge of that. Thank you.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Have you ever had somebody tell you like, "Hey, bro, like follow me back"? I don't
That's
like
so
that.
needy.
Yeah,
Like, how are
what
you
the
gonna do
fuck
that
is
as a
that?
man? Like, will you
Let me just follow you.
me?
Let me just follow you because I want to. You know, let me just choose who I want to follow. I'm sorry, but it's too forward for me. Just like
I just went into my page and I just unfollowed a bunch of people who don't like. I'm just not interested in it anymore. So
smart move.
no offense, but you're boring. I unfollowed you.
Okay. What I used to do when somebody would say that, I'd be like, "Oh yeah, no problem," and then I would follow them and then unfollow them like a couple minutes later.
That's even worse.
That'd be worse. I didn't want to be rude, you know, but it's
How to make someone's day and destroy it all at the same time.
That's just so needy, man. Like that's so weird. I had another guy reach out to me and he was like, "Hey bro, coach me for free." And I'm like, "Why?" He's like, well, you know, I can afford like food and rent and bills, but it's just a lot." And like, listen, dude, if you don't have like a lot of disposable income, do not do this sport.
Bodybuilding.
Yeah.
You
It's not
just
even-
like stop responding.
100%. Okay. Let's get into it. I think we got your thoughts on Justin. I don't know which Justin and Nick saying that Milos and Samson's method are wrong.
Justin Shire, I'm assuming, because the HD muscle.
Oh,
yeah. I don't think I saw that episode.
I didn't
think
either.
missed-
I think Milos and Nick have been arguing about how much protein you're supposed to eat. And they've been going back and forth about this. I was on the podcast with Tuttle and Milos,
I didn't see
and
that.
they asked me like, "Hey, how much protein do you?" And I was like, "I'm a high protein guy, right?" And
Yeah.
Milos was jazzed when he heard that. He was like, "Oh yeah, this guy." But yeah, who's right? I don't know. Do what fucking works for you. I don't know.
But listen, if I could eat 500 grams of protein and still be able to get in my other macros, I would do it. But bro, my stomach just can't. It just
So
can't.
my thing is with the protein thing is like, okay, like for example, I got to 302 pounds, right? But we all know not all of that is muscle tissue. And then I'm eating about 350 grams of protein myself. Like I may be about 245 on stage when it's all said and done. I'm like, how much of that protein did I really even fucking use before it's just like, and then carbohydrates are high too, right? That's protein sparing. So it's like, what the fuck am I really doing here? But
no, the idea behind the high protein thing,
the mTOR. Don't give us the mTOR thing.
The mTOR. Listen, I'm part of the high protein camp.
We're not scientists,
bro. If your stomach can handle it, like if you're just like gagging up your food and like you're getting backed up, then yeah, we need to like
no, okay, for sure. Stu is obviously using all that fucking protein. He's putting that shit to use. Nobody can argue that. Samson is using all that food. I don't need any more food. Whether it's protein, fats, or carbs, the last thing I need is more food. So
there even came a point though where, like, for example, because protein's the most hard to digest, right? So you're doing off season, and your appetite really starts to go towards the very end. So like Justin took some protein away by like an ounce a meal. It's a lot of protein in the grand scheme of things, and then up the carbs to be able to push a little further. So it's kind of like it's obviously like replaceable to an extent at a certain point.
Let me ask, Joe, was it your appetite or were you actually getting like physically backed up? Like your digestion?
It was my appet.
Okay, so you were still going through
like, we're talking like 5 times a day at that much food. And the food is moving. It was the appetite issue.
Okay, so if it's an appetite issue, my 2 cents is suck it up and eat the protein.
I never complained.
He's not a personal attack, Joe.
I'm attacked.
Have you noticed like Stu is like he's like growing into like Milos like each time, you know, with podcasts and he's just like
I don't have any ex-wives, so
once you bring up mTOR, it's too far. You're going too far.
I don't want to.
You fucking said it.
I knew exactly what you were going to say. That's right.
Okay, going back to Stu though, like I understand what Stu's saying, but
me
like,
too. Let
me just on a scientific level, I just don't know what that really does in excess. I just don't understand that.
Joe doesn't.
What do you say?
He's
mTOR.
Joe doesn't. I got to be honest. I don't think Joe needs more food at all.
Yeah, he's on fast fuck.
No, I'm capped out. Fuck that.
Yeah, but okay, I do. Okay, so Stu said, whether your appetite or digestion. I know what he's saying because if it's your appetite, there's ways around that. Digestion, you got to fix the digestion. You can't push more food with bad digestion. Now that being said, this is very person to person dependent. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, Stu has really good body composition. He's obviously obviously absorbing everything. I know it's probably hard to eat that food. I definitely give anybody kudos who's eating 500 grams of protein a day. Now, is it benefiting Stu? I think so. Um, I don't think everybody needs that much food. Same thing. Stu has been up to 1,200 carbs, and it worked well, right? Does that mean
I bet you like guys like you and Ken can probably get away with less protein just because you
less everything?
probably retain more of everything, whether it's water, calories,
Yeah.
like just like nitrogen, whatever. Like I think you guys are probably fine. I have a pretty fast metabolism. It's going to be turning over faster. So
Yeah.
you're right, person to person.
The difference. I've been down as low as 200 grams of protein before an off season. Same results as when I was 300 or 400. You know what I'm saying? That's why it's funny because I say
Wow,
things
with the
like
same body comp,
same body count. Like it's almost a joke because I always say I feel the same no matter what, whether I'm on trend, test, higher gear, lower gear. I always seem to get the same results like year to year.
because I'm not on like 500 grams of protein, like still and all. I do like 7 to 8 per meal, and some meals are 10,
Yeah.
which is high for my body. But my body comp, I notice on a higher protein diet, my body comp is better. Just
I kind
overall.
of noticed
I
that
feel the
too.
same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The when we talk about the relativity, right? It's like not only the Stu does 500, 600 protein or 500, right?
Yeah, something like
But
that. Yeah.
but
Yeah.
Stu's been as high as 1,200 carbs. Does that mean me, Joe, and Ken are gonna see good results off of 1,200 carbs? Probably not. Just because Stu's body is a different animal. So
Me and
there
Levi
is
will be competing, bro, at that
you
point.
know, there, so high is relative. It's like heavyweight. For me, 400 grams of protein is high for me. It's more than enough for me to get the mTOR response I'm looking for. And then, and but for Stu could probably do 600 grams of protein. And probably hate his life, but he
I
could probably
also,
do.
yeah, I'm just used to force feeding myself because, like, even when I was like 220 pounds, like, I was force feeding from the jump. So, like, more protein or more carbs, either way, it sucks. But I
Mhm.
do have like pretty good digestion. I talked to Sid about this, and he was like, "What the fuck,
Mhm.
dude? How do you handle that?" He's like,
Mhm.
he told me I had an iron stomach because I can handle 10, 11 ounces of protein in a meal just throughout the
Exactly.
day. It goes through me.
To
It
be
doesn't, it sucks while I'm eating it, but it goes through me.
to be fair to Joe, right? The relativity part is this, right? Whereas you can say suck it up, right? But it's just as hard for Joe to eat 400 grams of protein as it is for you to eat 500, right? It's different. So it's relatively hard, right? It's like, I'm sure Joe is force feeding. I'm sure Ken is force feeding. I'm sure I'm force feeding. It's a different amount of food, but also our body works differently, right? So whereas Joe could incline press 5 plates, and that's heavy for him. But for me, if I do 4 plates, it feels just as heavy. It doesn't mean Joe is working harder than me. He just has a stronger chest than me. Same thing for you. You eating 500 grams of protein. It's like, well, I'm forcing it down. You should as well. But it's like, yeah, but he's already forcing down to 400. You know what I'm saying?
No, but
His body is
outside
gonna.
of forcing it down, though, like I said, on a scientific level, I don't understand the point in so much. Like, what is that? What
Mtor,
does
bro.
that extra amount do?
It's
Leucine.
literally,
It's about
it's
it's about
literally,
leucine.
yeah, it's you're ingesting a signaling molecule. So like it's telling you to put your body in an anabolic state every time you
Joe has no
download
idea what
protein
that
foods.
what that means.
Yeah, I know what's going
Joe
on.
Joe's a
Look
meathead.
at his face. I mean,
No, no, no. But okay, look. But why? Like, because you're still in excess, even at what I'm eating.
right. Yeah, it's not being used as a building block at that point. I mean, some of it is
Yes,
obviously as
that's what I'm
much as you
saying.
can. Yeah, but like you may be able to get a similar kind of signal in your body using like amino acids. Like
Yes.
what there's some thing that this is like old as fuck, but it was like amino spiking. No, not amino spiking. It was like you take like BCAA shakes throughout the day to like continue to like hit that mTOR kind of response. You know,
I don't know.
Your body,
BCAs, man. BCAs is
yeah. Well,
yeah, I
It's a
think
tough
they're kind of useless, but like they could potentially be useful as a signal, you know, to your body.
This
to, like,
this what I would say. This what I would say though. I think there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat.
Yeah.
You know, for example, Joe's been pushing his off season. He's made gains. I think we can all see that, right? I just think that where things, especially with bodybuilding, where we're in this science era where everything has to be proven by research or whatnot, if something is working for you, just stick to it, man. Like if it's not working, look for additional ways. You know what I mean? And then I think those things start to play. But for I think we all kind of do different things. We're similar in a lot of regards, but we also do different things. But hey, man, we're all still making gains. That's the point, right?
do you guys think like Derek and Heidi are getting enough isovaline, valine, and leucine in their diet? You know,
well,
probably not.
I know that because Hani is like a high protein guy. That's why he's a high protein guy. Like they're big on that. So
listen, Hani doesn't even. I don't think
wrong,
Hani,
actually, Beatty.
I don't think.
What is high protein to them though?
I don't.
It's not like Milos high, right?
I think Milos is just excessive in everything, man.
That's what I'm trying to say. Like,
that's true.
I didn't
That's
know
also true.
500-600 grams. I just don't.
Now, what I will say is, if let's say, which I've done this before. I've done this before, right? If I go from 400 to 450 and I see better gains, I'm going to 500. If I see better gains, I'm gonna go to 550. If I don't see better gains or better recovery or whatever, then I'm not gonna do it.
I remember what it was called, amino pulsing. This is some concept that was like from the mid 2000s or something, and you know, maybe it was a way to sell BCAAs to idiots.
My aminos are
when body's skeptical. He always does this.
Like you're full of shit. Okay, let's put this to bed. Takeaways here are: if you haven't tried it, try running your protein higher. If your digestion hates it, go back. But, and this is the most important thing, if just because you don't have the appetite to eat something doesn't mean you shouldn't try it. If you're having digestive problems, then that's a red flag. But if you just don't have the appetite, you're just being a pussy and you just need to force it down.
Not Joe though. Everybody else, because Joe is 300 pounds. So
perfect. Ain't nobody gets 300 pounds as a pussy.
No more food, Joe.
Little boy.
Joe, no more food, Joe.
Beautiful.
I needed that.
Joe, we're not condoning.
I'm gonna go follow you back on Instagram now.
So anybody watching, you need more food. Joe, don't eat more food, please. Don't eat more food.
Joe's doing everything.
I waved the flag. The little flag.
No, but it's funny because I feel like it's like we always disagree on minutia, but we always agree on the bigger picture. And then most people that ask me the minutia questions have no business discussing minutia. All they need to focus on. So, like, you know, I bet you somebody's gonna DM me or one of you guys. Hey, I'm doing 200 protein. Should I do 300? And it's like, and you look at them and you're like, just get it done. just pick one, get it done.
Eat food, don't even lift weights, trust God. Like,
you know what I'm saying? I think Sam Sulek is as low as like 200, 250 protein, right? He probably would see better results on a little bit higher.
Yeah, there's a lot of things we could critique there, but that's a whole other discussion.
But it's also like, what was I doing at 21? Fucking, you know, I was doing way worse at 21, right? So it's like, he's off to a good start. It's gonna tighten up naturally. It's just by the time he's 23, he's gonna have a different approach, you know.
Hey, bro, I'm so excited something. I had a donut before arms yesterday. You saw those bad boys?
Come on now. Come on now, yeah. You know what? Since I started watching him, I don't even control the negatives anymore. I just let that bitch fucking crank and bang that bitch. I'm doing. Do you see my? Did you see my last shoulder video? Them dumbbells, I was ripping them shits. I was doing this shit with that. I wasn't fuck that locking out shit, bro.
You're too old, man. You cannot get away with that.
No, you're right. But once I put them dumbbells down, I was like, but that was the stupidest shit ever. I'm not lifting that shit again. That's the last time I'm doing some shit
Hey,
like
bro, I shit you not. For Instagram, I did 5 plates on the incline. The next week, I was so beat up, I only did 3. I'm an Instagram bodybuilder.
Bro, like Zay told me before, he said, bro, record the back off set. Don't record the main set. Because you always going to go, bro, I looked at the 140, I was like, I should probably do 140s. But I had the mic on, I had the camera on. I'm like, yo, pass me the fucking 150s. I don't got no business with them shits, bro. So like I said, back down set, 130s. So from now on, back down set. I'm not filming at the top set no more. Who cares, bro? No, like I'm not getting no props for that shit. You know, at the end of the day, they're like, you're supposed to. You're big. You should be doing that shit, right? There's some 190-pound kid at Zoo Culture who can lift more than that anyway. So it's irrelevant. There's yeah, there is, like, for real. I fucking see them do it all. I saw a girl in there deadlifting 5 plates, bro. I think she's popular though. She
You get her number?
No, she was there with her boyfriend.
She wasn't bottom heavy.
Would have curved
She
you,
wasn't
bro.
bottom heavy, bro.
She would have called the cops.
All right, okay. I didn't ask the question, did I?
No, you didn't.
Okay. I think.
Well, no, this is from.
The Milos, right?
Fucking Nick debate. Yeah.
We don't really know the debate, but hopefully that answers the question.
Meat and rice, dude. It's not that complicated.
If you were in bodybuilding, what would you do for your career? I guess Stu already knows because he did it.
Yeah, construction management until I die. Just fucking hated that stuff, but yeah.
I'll be a drug dealer. I'll be in Harlem selling drugs.
Maybe I'd be a drug dealer too, actually.
I'd be a cop. I'd be a cop and
left
fading down.
way too fast.
Someone got to move the Fetty.
Somebody got to move that Fetty quick. Fetty bop. How about Ken?
I feel like bodybuilding is not at a point yet where I can even call it a career. I gotta be honest.
Yeah, Ken's got a real job.
Ken does have a real job.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I work in IT right now. So I can't answer that question because I haven't made it yet like these guys, you know.
He's gonna be whipping everybody in a couple of years though, so he'll quit. Just watch.
To be honest, I don't think I look at bodybuilding as a career. I think I look at bodybuilding as a passion and a hobby and a lifestyle. Career is a strong word, bro. Like,
you can make a career out of it, you know.
You can, but career to me is like, I think you have to get there before. Yeah, like you have to get there before you call it a career.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
you know, I think when Nick won his first Arnold and got a fucking $300,000 check, I think at that point he said, "This is my career." Right?
Yes. So like a guy like Nick is career bodybuilding. A guy like Samson is career bodybuilding.
Yeah.
But like, you know,
really
if you have
small
to,
group.
it's a really small group. If you have to have another job to complement your bodybuilding, you know, competitive career or competitive whatever, it's not your career. You know, you're still funding that passion, like you said, you know.
To be honest, even if it's bodybuilding related, like coaching or podcasting or YouTubing or Instagram, whatever you want to call that.
Separate from training and competing.
That's what I'm saying. That's not bodybuilding as a career. Eric Janicki, right? Very successful as a social media influencer. Because he's a bodybuilder doesn't mean bodybuilding is his career. He's still a coach and you call it influencer or marketer. I don't know. He also owns like a TRT, not TRT. What do you call it?
Wellness
like
clinic.
Like a wellness center, shit like that. So I wouldn't say your career is bodybuilding. You're successful in the fitness industry doesn't mean, you know, you're a career bodybuilder. So I don't even think that's the best way to look at it. I feel like it's better.
I look at a guy like Sean Ray, right? Sean Ray's never worked a regular job in his life. He made a
He
career
still
out of
has it.
bodybuilding. You know what I mean? He made a career out of bodybuilding. Yeah, he's not competing anymore, but he promotes shows. That's still within bodybuilding industry, right?
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
still getting money from a lot of that stuff. So like that's someone that has a career in bodybuilding. Dennis James has a career in bodybuilding. You know, those
Jay,
guys. Jay, of course, you know, but Jay also has real estate, so like
he does.
he diversified a little bit, but
and he runs his own supplement brand too, you know.
Yeah.
And he's doing social media very seriously, like his YouTube stuff is good.
Well, I don't know if you guys watched the last podcast with me, Stu, and David, but we kind of talked about that. Just because you're a bodybuilder doesn't mean you're limited to one thing or the industry. I think a lot of us, we get small-minded and think unless you have this sponsor or unless you have, you know what I'm saying, that you can like you said, Jay has real estate. Like there's bodybuilders who have nothing. Stan McRae, the owner of Physique Inc., he was a big natural bodybuilder, became a IFBB pro. He's very wealthy. Okay. Now that being said, he's not directly making most of his money necessarily from bodybuilding as a sport. But there's so many different. He was training actors at one point. I'm sure he had a bunch of other businesses that we don't even know about. But it's like you can do everything the average Joe can. Like when you walk into the gym, or I walk into Zoo Culture Goals, and there's like a 20-something-year-old that's a multimillionaire. We can do what he does still, and still bodybuild, right? Whatever business they got going on, we can still do that and be a bodybuilder. It's not mutually exclusive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because
it takes a lot of time, money.
Yeah, what I will say is bodybuilding gives you opportunities to venture into other industries and make a lot of money. So if I put it in myself, for example, I could work my IT job for the rest of my life, and I probably, you know, I may be okay, you know, have a good family or whatnot, but I could maybe, you know, win an Arnold one day, and my life changes just from that, not even just from the money from that, but from the exposure, from sponsorship, stuff like that. So it gives you more opportunity, and the smart people use that money to diversify and, you know, make more, essentially be wealthy. So,
and the smart people also don't quit their day job too soon. Like you need to have that flash in the pan moment before you go all in on this stuff.
Yeah. Well, at least Stu, you have, but Stu, also for you have evidence that you can be at that level, right? Your rookie year, you came second at the New York Pro. So you have
done that after winning the USAs, though. You know,
that's what I mean. Exactly.
Exactly.
We're on the same page.
The worst thing I can hear is when like a teenager tells me that bodybuilding is my life, and it's like, it's not your life. Trust me.
You don't have a life yet. You're too young to have a life yet.
You don't even understand what life is. Like, you know what I'm saying? We don't even fully understand what life is yet. So you definitely don't. You definitely don't understand what life is. So it's I respect the passion, but you gotta relax a little bit, brother. You gotta relax a little bit, bro. Keep working hard in the gym. Keep eating the food. Keep taking the shark cartilage. But relax a little bit, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's not your life yet, you know.
Yeah, so I think they just say that because like they don't want to work a real job. And fuck, who does? You know, it's not that fun. But stability is more valuable than anything, man. You know, you take that for granted if you come from like a stable home where everything was like taken care of for you. Like if you're a teenager, you haven't left home yet, like you just kind of take that for granted.
Yeah, man.
Exactly.
Rent and bills and bullshit. So,
and like Stu's saying, even on this podcast, right? Like I know we talk all the time on this podcast. We haven't made it, you know. We haven't made it, but even within bodybuilding, we've made some level of achievement, right? Like there's 3 overall winners here, sitting on this podcast, and we haven't even made it yet. So if you're just starting out, you can imagine what that road looks like. You know what I mean? So you have to be logical. You can't just say, "Oh, I want to be a bodybuilder. I'm going to quit everything and go on this path." It's not guaranteed that you're going to be good. You know what I mean? Or you mess up your, you know, you have an injury, you know, and what happens after that? You've got no degree, you've got no skills. so, and you made no money because you weren't even a good bodybuilder to begin with. So now you're actually starting from scratch. So
And
you
guess
just got to be
what?
logical.
I mean, Ken was doing 2 hours of cardio and killing himself and still going to work every day, getting ready for the North Americans. I was still going to work every day, being an amateur bodybuilder. And like for the last year before this, it's like, how many hours of the day does bodybuilding actually take up? Like maybe a bit of extra time to eat your food compared to if you were eating 3 meals a day. You go to the gym, you prep your meals. It's like, it's really not that much extra time every day. Like, so when you do the math, it's like, no, you don't need to quit your job and do this shit full time to be good at it. And if you
when like when you're working a job and bodybuilding, that's when you realize how much free time you actually have. Like for I guess for me, Stu, I think Joe is doing this full time as well now. You realize you kind of feel like you don't have time, but it's bullshit. You're just wasting fucking time.
Yeah.
You're just not making it better because there was a point where I'm working all fucking day and still getting bodybuilding done. Now all of a sudden I'm like, oh, I'm late. Oh, whoa, what the fuck? Oh, no time. And it's like, you got time, bro. You just bullshitting, fucking sitting there scrolling through your phone, doing
I'm so
some
guilty of this. I'm trying to get better at it. I'm ashamed of myself, honestly, man.
One thing I noticed in most bodybuilders have hardworking parents. So you usually see hard work, and that becomes a thing. There's no coincidence why these Nigerians are doing so well, because when you have mean ass African parents, you get shit done. African parents is mean as hell, boy. Oh my god, bro. Me and my sister was just talking about that on the phone. He was like, "Yo, that shit was borderline traumatic. They mean as hell. The fuck." But it is what it is. Like, you got to be grateful for the benefits that has as well, right? There's no time to bullshit. Like that culture. There's no playing victim. There's no feeling bad for yourself. You get shit done, or you don't get to complain. Nobody's listening. Ken's parents don't listen to him complain. They're like,
nobody's listening.
you fucking Nigerian, bro. Go get it done. Nigerians get shit done. Like you can't, So like you gotta respect it. Mm-hmm.
They don't care, man, dude. It's all about like, okay, did you ever
Results.
get that one? Did you ever get that one, Beatty, where if you ever complain about something where you were younger and your parents would be like, well, did they have two heads? Why were they able to do it better than you, right? So they always give you why couldn't you do it?
I have two heads.
Learning Nigerian shit talk. Sick.
It's crazy. Like there's no way around it. You gotta get it done. God forbid you don't become a doctor, a lawyer. Oh, shit's gonna be rough for you. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, I did IT, and let me tell you, the fact that I didn't do law or engineering, like standard civil engineering or mechanical engineering or medical, bro, that was like a contention point for a little bit. Nigerians only do three things, bro. They do engineering, they do medical, or they don't go into law. That's it. There's nothing else.
There's no other way out. Bro, when I dropped out of college, bro, I thought my mom was gonna kill me in my sleep, bro. Shit was rough. I thought she was gonna try to kill me in my sleep, bro. She wasn't having that shit. She wasn't having. But I got to make my own path. But I had to move out shortly after, because you know how that goes, Kenny. It wasn't gonna go well.
You weren't gonna stay in the house, bro.
Like it's funny because I would have to. She would try to make noise to wake me up just to make sure I'm not sleeping too long. Like if it'd be 7 a.m, she making noise and shit. I'm like, can I get some fucking sleep? You're not going to school, motherfucker. You got to do some shit. It's like, oh man, I gotta get out of this motherfucker, bro.
She just loves you.
I posted on my page, when I won the New Jersey, which was a very big deal for me because, it's not like my parents weren't supportive, but bodybuilding was something they just never understood, and because they didn't understand it, they wanted no part in it. So when I won New Jersey, it was the first.
You don't want to.
Yeah. So when I won New Jersey, that was the first time my mom actually ever saw me compete. You know what I mean? And that was when she actually realized how good I actually was, You know what I mean? Now it's different. Now, you know, like, okay, you know, they've seen and they see that I'm good at it, so they support it. But coming up, man, dude, they want to hear it. You know what I mean? It's like you got to go to school first, bro. Anything else, it doesn't count. You know?
That's it. That's actually a huge step. Your mom is like progressive. Have you ever seen a Nigerian mom in the audience? I've never seen a Nigerian mom in the audience. I've been to a lot of bodybuilding shows.
They'd be easy to pick out too. Like they dress a certain way, you know,
with like the head wrap with the thing. You know? I haven't seen one. I haven't seen one West African mom at any bodybuilding show, bro. But I've never, to be fair, I've never invited my mom. I'm like, she don't want to. She's gonna be in the audience praying and shit. Like she's gonna be like, what the? She's not gonna know where she's at. You know, a different dimension or some shit. So I never even try to cross the paths. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, it is what it is. There's no complaining because I think it just makes us better. When you have tough love, you know,
100%.
All this to go back to the question though, like all this no plan B shit that you hear from pros, it's like they're like top in the world. Do not think like that. You are not that guy.
I gotta have a plan B, a plan C.
Yeah.
But it also like the no plan B thing, I think it's misconstrued, right? It's like Joe saying that I'm doing the USAs no matter what. I'm not thinking about the next show right now. That's a no plan B mindset. It doesn't mean if he doesn't win the USAs, he's just gonna fucking lay out and just give up, right? At that point, if he doesn't win the USAs, then he starts to. It's like there's just like a new plan A, but it's technically the same shit. It doesn't mean like it's all or nothing. It's like everything is focused on this. You're not gonna give yourself like, oh, if I lose, you know what I'm saying? You're not gonna give yourself like a cop out, but you still are smart enough to know how to pivot, right? So don't be dumb.
Also still going to work and making a living.
Exactly.
It's not stupid like that, you know.
Whereas people misconstrue it as in no plan B means you're just out here winging it and you're just making stupid choices, and if you fall flat on your face, you're just gonna fall and flat on your face.
That's not a Hallmark movie. This is real life.
Exactly. You know, I can respect, you know, picking one show and not giving yourself a cop out and not thinking about the next show until that show comes. That's different. That's completely fine. But this idea that you're gonna quit your job and then that's kind of weird. You know, there's a time and place for that, but not right now. Okay. What type of music do you listen to warm up for top sets and for top sets? Love the podcast. What kind of music you listen to, Joe?
It depends on my mood. I'll go from like something like Slipknot or Disturbed to fucking Mariah Carey, bro. It just depends on my mood.
How about like when you're about to bench 5 plates?
I was listening to nothing.
Oh.
Whatever was on in the gym, I do just kind of background noise. I didn't listen to shit.
Okay.
I say a prayer before I do shit like that.
That's important.
I swear.
Let's go, Kentonol.
That should not stick. But
Bob Chick is gonna be like, you guys know him as Kentonol.
But honestly, you guys would probably rip me for this one. Outside of hip hop, like sometimes I would just go on YouTube, like on my phone, and do like Machiavelli motivation. Sometimes I just don't want to listen to like standard music, you know.
That's pretty cringy, actually.
Yeah, it's pretty cringe. I gotta be honest. It's pretty cringe.
No, but for cardio, nobody listens to Machiavelli. Like if you guys do like 2 hours of cardio and you feel like shit, you don't put on Machiavelli motivation.
Bro, on some of the hardest days, I literally watched an hour's worth of it.
Yeah,
I've done 2 hours of cardio.
Oh, see, but when cardio gets really hard on prep, if you're on Stairmaster with an hour cardio to go, I'll put on Machiavelli motivation and I'll get tears in my eyes, bro. It'll show like I'm dead ass. It'll show like this whole story, and it'll show Ramon in Brazil, and he like this skinny and shit, and it'll show him like fucking and I'm like, oh shit, that's great. And I get so excited. I get excited and shit, and I get teary eyed, and I'm sure everybody looking like this motherfucker crying on the fucking treadmill, bro.
Fucking gay. Jesus.
I got a boat. It's like I got to get emotional because my body can't do this cardio, bro. My body is shutting down. My legs are shaking. Your body can't do this unless you got to elicit some kind of adrenal fucking response, bro. It's weird, you know. I've even had smelling salts on the cardio machine, and I'll sniff it, and it'll wake me up, you know.
I gotta try that.
It's cringe. It's cringe, but it happens, man. It's cringe, but it happens, you know.
To be honest, it's okay to be cringe at that point in prep because like the world as you know it is gone. You're just on like a different planet. Whatever works. Just
Dude, I'm just busting your balls. You're not gay. It's a little weird, but
thank you, Stu.
Like half gay.
Stu, what do you listen to? Reggae?
Yeah, mostly. Yeah.
I can see that.
I have like this weird mix of like German rap and like metal music, metalcore, like old metalcore. I really like.
You like Rammstein?
No, yeah, I like Rammstein. I don't listen to him much though. I don't know why I got into German rap. It's just like I just like it. You know what it is? Actually, like I wanted to post like rap music on my page, but I didn't want any racial slurs in it. So like I just don't feel comfortable putting that on my page as a white man. It seems a little unfortunate. So
2024, bro. It's 2024. You could do anything you want, bro.
Freedom of speech, bro. Freedom of speech.
Yeah, how far that gets me. But yeah, so I just started getting into that, and I was like, oh, this is pretty good. I have no clue what they're saying, but shit goes hard.
That happened to me with Crazy Wear because I'll post
that
stuff.
Happened to me too.
At one point they weren't reposting, and I was like, oh, I guess they don't want to repost it. And they were like, hey, bro, I just want to let you know, like, we didn't repost it because some of these lyrics and these songs you're posting. I'm like, oh, I didn't even think about that. I'm like, oh, okay, I can see that. You want to keep it PG, so like now when I tag them, I don't put any music because it goes over when you listen to hip hop. It goes over your head. You don't even realize how this sounds if you don't listen to this, right? It sounds kind of wild if you don't. You know what I'm saying? So like if you go play it for Ken, if you go play it for your parents, they're gonna be like, what the fuck is this?
No, they're not that bad, bro.
Oh, if I play that for my mom, bro, she'll be like, the fuck is this, bro? I feel like your mom is a bit more forward thinking. Yeah.
My mom is chill. She's super chill. It's just like I said, but the bodybuilding, she just didn't understand it. You know what I mean? Like let's be honest, it's a little weird for your son, for your teenage son. Yeah, for your teenage son to wanna go up in posing trunks. And keep in mind, we have muscle now, so it looks different. But at that time when you're starting out, it's like, what's happening here? You know what I mean? So
man, the first time my older brother had like this bodybuilder magazine, and I had to be like, my older brother is almost 50 now, so he's quite a bit older than me.
Wow.
And so I had one of his magazines. This is because he came stay with us for a while and left, but he left these magazines with me, and I'm looking through it, and my dad started catching on, and he's like, "What the fuck?" I'm just looking at both guys, and then he took all the magazines and like threw it away. He wasn't feeling it because they're like, well, why is he looking at this? You know? But like to be honest, in hindsight, I didn't know what bodybuilding was. I just thought it was interesting, right? It's like I wasn't bodybuilding at fucking 9 years old, but it was like I thought it was cool. I'm like, wow, this is now looking back, I recognize some of these people. I remember Lee Priest. I was a big fan of Lee Priest for some reason. I didn't know who Lee Priest was. But I'm like, this guy was just
are really similar. I could see why you were a fan of him.
Because no, but he had that Superman tattoo. So the only reason I know it's Lee Priest is because the big arms and the blonde hair with the Superman tattoo. So I just thought that shit was cool.
I just watched something about Lee Priest. It was a short clip of him talking on the Fuad podcast. He was
Mhm.
talking about how the one time his wife got mad at him or yelled at him was because she caught him trying to chug vodka through his asshole. I was like, what the fuck?
It does work, right?
That's so
That shit works.
I
You know
haven't
about like
tried
him, huh,
it, but I
baby?
think it does. Yeah.
Hey, bro, like, don't people in LA like put like cocaine on their dick and have
It's
sex?
supposed to like do shit like faster, right? Like
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
enhanced or whatever.
And you don't absorb a lot of those calories too.
Yeah.
That's wild.
In case anybody was
So you won't
wondering.
get fat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember-
If your
I remember
protein's high
reading
enough,
online
you don't get
about
fat
like
either.
when I was in college and I was like bodybuilding, I was like, fuck, I really wish I could still party, but like obviously that's not good for you. I was like, I read somewhere that you could snort alcohol, like, and there's a mucus membrane in your nose, like when you do blow, that's what it's absorbing through, right? And you could like snort alcohol and get fucked up from it really fast. I've never tried this, but like, I don't know, don't do that, but it might work.
No. Well, if somebody watching, if somebody wants to do it, and let us know how that goes.
No, don't do that.
No, we didn't influence you. Just
We will
you're doing it
not
on
be
your own
held
accord.
responsible for your idiotic actions.
I don't think I didn't answer the question, right? It was what type of music?
Yeah.
I don't listen to any music at all in the gym whatsoever. Well, granted, when I train at Zoo Culture, they blast the music there, and I could tell them what to play, and they would play it, but I don't really care. I'm kind of unbothered. If there's something decent on, I'm cool. If there's nothing on, I'm fine too. I used to listen to podcasts in the gym as I work out, but these days I want nothing. I just want to train. I'm so when I'm training, huh? Yeah, right.
That's what I was trying to say. Most of the
Yeah.
time, that's how it is.
If I'm training with a training partner, me and him are like going back and forth, and we're probably chatting or just going back and forth. Or if I'm by myself, I just zone out. When I'm by myself, I zone out. I don't see nobody. I don't know who's in the gym. I couldn't tell you. I couldn't care less. I'm in there. I work out and I leave. But music is not something I need. I don't need motivation. I don't need to be amped up. I'm not even hyped when I work out. I'm cruising. This is not like when I was younger. I want to get hyped up. Oh, let's go, lift it. There's no amped upness. There's no anger. There's no violence. It's just I just get the job done and bounce. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, nowadays if I have headphones in, it's probably because I'm on prep and I don't want you to talk to me.
Yeah.
I'm not really.
Yeah.
It's not really
Took the
even me
words
trying
out
to
of my
listen to
mouth.
music.
Yeah.
100%. But just don't talk to me.
100%. Yeah, during prep, I don't talk to my training partner. We don't have conversations.
Yeah, my
I'll
last 4 weeks, I didn't talk to Paul. I had headphones on while training with him.
Yeah.
Asshole.
I'll walk in the gym. I'll walk in the gym. I'll walk in the gym and start training. Whenever he arrives is when he arrives. I'm not checking my phone. He arrives, he jumps in, and he'll just jump in the workout and do whatever. And then I don't even say what's the next movement. I just get up and go to the next machine. I just don't have it in me, bro. I just
Did you
don't
ever
have
prep
anything
with
else.
someone at the same time, like a training partner?
Yeah, one of my clients, we were off by like 4 weeks or so, something like that. But yeah, we didn't talk at all. We basically didn't talk. The one I told you that the guy said you have nice legs and you just ignored him. That's my one of my training partner clients.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was one point that I was working out with like a group of like 4 guys, and we would just talk shit, but like mean. It wasn't like how we banter and like we'll like crack jokes at each other, but it was like almost mean. It was too far. Like legit talking shit like with a serious face, like actually like and we kind of meant it. It was weird, but it got too intense maybe. All right.
I'll be right back.
All right, Stu. No, don't come back. If you go, just stay there.
Fuck you.
All right, next question. Deep in off season, does anybody eat veggies?
No.
I just do like I do spinach usually like 75 grams
In off season?
usually. Yeah.
Really?
Dude, man, that and fiber lies or I'm screwed, man. It's How are you guys? Using the bathroom without any? What do you guys have, like a fiber shake?
You know my situation.
Bro, like honestly, I think it's how you grew up. Because like for example, Stu can handle a bunch of protein.
Yeah.
But growing up, I didn't eat a lot of like fibrous foods, so my body just adjusted. Like, so I don't really.
What did you eat growing up?
Fast food all the time.
Okay.
I was a fat kid. I was like, I was obese. Like third grade when they weighed us, I remember my weight was 136.
Damn.
Yeah, I was really heavy. I was a tank.
Shit.
So let me tell you, Stu, I have no problem eating food.
130. I was 130. I was 130 freshman year of high school.
Yeah, bro. See, I was light years ahead of you.
Yeah, I see.
I don't eat veggies either. I just have fiber before bed, and that keeps me regular. I'll have oatmeal in the morning. I guess that counts.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I do have oatmeal sometimes. I guess that counts.
Stu doesn't strike me as the veggie kind of guy.
No, I'm all about the spinach and the green beans and the white fish at the end of prep, but that's just to fill out my stomach a bit. So
if it doesn't,
I do spinach. Spinach is the only one I can do, and I do 75 grams. For like
when I
2
was
or 3 meals.
dieting really hard the first year with Blue, I was eating spinach, and I would like go to the bathroom frequently, and it was like soupy for some reason. I don't know why. My stomach felt fine. I would just be like pissing on my ass, and like the spinach would just come out like exactly like it went in. It was just fucking floating there in the tub. That's not good.
That's that. You must have not been getting that mTOR response you were looking for.
Oops.
All right. If people were as open about cycles and doses when you guys were coming up, would it have helped you? Well, we had Boston Lloyd and Tony Hughes. They were open about the cycles.
Help Zayn. Write that down.
I don't know if anybody's cycles help the next person. I think that's one of the biggest mistakes. When people ask me my cycle in person, I don't think you should ask me. I don't think a stranger should be asking me about my cycle anyways. But when they do, I like to ask them, why do you want to know? Because what are you going to do with this information? They're like, yeah, I just want to know. I'm like, yeah, but let's dive a little deeper. Why exactly do you want to know my cycle? You're not asking me for cycle advice for you. You're asking me for mine. What does that mean? And they can't really answer it. It's like,
they want to chitter chatter to their boyfriends at the gym about like, oh, he's taking all this stuff. And
yeah, I don't believe me knowing Stu's cycle or Joe's cycle is gonna make me a better bodybuilder. Like, let's be real, it's not. It's not gonna make me bigger. It's not gonna make me better in any way. But what was the question? Yeah, the question was,
more protein, you'd be better though.
Yeah, mTOR, brother. If you were open about cycles, would it have helped? Do you guys think it would have helped you if the pros were open about their cycles?
Not really.
No,
not really.
Because go ahead.
Go ahead.
I mean, I would have just done dumb shit regardless, knowing myself.
Basically,
and I did, and I stopped doing that. But dude, it's not that complicated. Like, there's certain drugs that you take when you're prepping for shows, and there's certain drugs you take in the off season, and you figure out what's a comfortable spot for you that's reaping benefits and you don't feel crappy on. And then, certain things, certain drugs you might not feel good on, so you avoid those, and certain drugs make you look better on stage, and so you do those. And like, there's inherently some trial and error that you have to go through. But like, start with like what's generally accepted. You can find that shit in the forums, if you look a bit, and then kind of massage things and go from there, or hire a coach to help you do that.
That's always the best solution.
Best way.
It's fucking
Yeah.
hire some fucking help, bro. So stop.
Yeah.
Well, keep asking questions for the podcast, but stop DMing everybody and asking them for advice. That's not gonna make you better. It's not gonna make you better. Just hire the fucking coach. I'm sorry. Just I'm happy to answer questions, but I always preface it with like, this isn't about to be some groundbreaking shit here, bro.
Yeah.
Anything I tell you, you probably already heard it 20 times. It's irrelevant. You just need help. I know you think that, I got the diet part and training part down pat. I just need this magic cycle. You just need a coach. If you even believe that, you need all the help you can get. And you don't need help for the last 8 weeks. Motherfucker, you need the whole 5 years is what the fuck you need. just buy the 5-year package. Okay. But just sign up for the next 5 years. That's what you need. No offense, but that's the truth, bro.
I think honestly, for me, I think it helped me not knowing, because when I first started, right?
Like that.
And you guys probably started around the same time. This information wasn't really like that. Outside of seeing Dexter Jackson on Wikipedia, my next introduction was Pump and Iron, and then I bought Arnold's encyclopedia. That was actually how I started training, right? So I started like actually, this was before YouTube was really, it was only like 6-pack abs on YouTube back then. I don't know if you guys remember that guy.
You're talking like early 2010s?
Maybe like 2011. Yeah,
okay,
like 2011, 2012, right? So like, I just started training, and I'll be honest, I was naive originally. I thought that if you trained as hard as you can and ate whatever you could, you would look like, Dexter Jackson was my metric at that point. I would look like Dexter Jackson, right? It never panned out that way. But because of when I was younger and how extreme I know I was doing everything to the 100th degree. Training, I would load that bar up. I don't care, man. If I die under that weight, I'm fine. Food, I would push. I was like, what, 170 pounds? I was eating like I was 300 pounds. I did not need any of that food at that point.
Yeah.
And if I had added, drugs to that, I can't imagine. I don't even know if I would be able to compete
alive
at this point, right? Yeah. So I think it helped me not knowing a lot of that stuff, because I was able to get a lot of those metrics out of the way and actually learn how to train, learn how to eat, and do all that stuff. And then when I didn't want to experiment by the time, I was a little bit older, so I didn't want to experiment coming into competitive bodybuilding. So I went with a coach straight away, and that's eliminated all the experimentation out of the way. And I progressed, so whoever's asking that question, what I would say is max out everything you can. And then if you're going to go that step later on, personal responsibility, I feel it's better to have someone that knows what they're doing in your corner than for you to just go on your own. So I would say definitely hire a coach once you get to that point, but max everything out first before you even attempt that.
The problem with knowing more too early is, like, if you know what I'm doing right now as a professional bodybuilder, you're going to try and copy that, because that's what I tried to do. I heard Tony Huge talking about, like, oh, this is what the pros do. And I was like, okay, I'll do that. It was stupid. It was fucking stupid. And I could have hurt myself. Yeah. Fortunately, I didn't. But, like, I mean, something comes to mind here. I'm sure you've seen this viral reel of this kid, Nate Udi. I hate saying his name because it's just going to give him more attention. But, like, the guy is on like 1,700 milligrams of gear. And he's under 200 pounds. Do you know who I'm talking about?
Nope.
No, but I'm definitely gonna look him up for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, and he's got like 42,000 followers or something. Like, the guy is quite popular, and all he does is talk about drugs. Yeah, because he's a fucking idiot. Like, the guy is like, he probably trains like a puss, eats like a puss, like all of the standard shit for like people who look like crap, and like, he's probably trying to do what he thinks we're doing. And like, I mean, I am like, he's taking a similar cycle to like what I might in the off season, and he's like under 200 pounds.
But okay, but at what point do you go like this? I don't look like shit. So what point did that click and he'd be like, maybe this ain't it. Like, if
But Bitey, that's the problem. So that's where that rhetoric comes where, oh, the pros are lying. They must be taking more.
or
Yeah.
even more.
That's
Oh,
where that
boom.
that's where
I
that
get
problem
it.
comes in.
So
You know
if
what I
I'm
mean?
taking 5 grams of test and I look like shit, then it's like, okay. If I'm taking 5 grams of test and I look like this, Stu must be taking 10 fucking grams of test.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha, Stu. You can't lie to me, Stu. I got you.
And
Okay.
I think, listen, I think he knows exactly what he's doing. He has built a following off of rage bait because, like, he's taking a shitload of drugs. Almost all the comments on there are like super negative. Like, dude, you look natural, just shit like that because he does. And I mean, the problem is the social media ecosystem gives positive feedback for that. It gives you followers, gives you clout, gives you like attention, and he is like, he's got like brand deals and stuff
Oh.
for being an idiot because he's got
Who?
eyeballs on him. He's got like peptide companies and shit like that. I mean, yeah, wow, yeah, we're doing it all wrong, man.
That's wild.
Holy shit.
That's
Okay,
wild.
but let me circle back. I was gonna say Ken said something. Oh, boom, yeah. Ken said he didn't know much, right? Like, not knowing is the best thing, right? I feel like, because the question is, would it have helped if I knew what the pros is doing? Complete opposite. I would have rather not known anything. I would have rather never seen Tony Hughes or Boston Lloyd. Boston Lloyd ended up being a good friend of mine, so I like him as a person. But I would have been better off not seeing any of this shit, right? Because my first cycle, I did 500 tests, 20 D-ball. And I thought I was like pushing the envelope. I'm like, yeah, motherfucker, I'm not scared of this shit, motherfucker. 500 motherfucker tests. I thought this was like high doses, to me. And that's good. That's how you should feel. But then once I started getting exposed to some of these videos, I'm like, holy fuck. Oh, I'm bullshitting, you know what I'm saying? So then you start thinking, well, maybe I do need more. You know what I'm saying? Where the truth is that I didn't need more. I just needed to control the other variables better, which I wasn't doing 100%. You know what I'm saying? So I actually felt like the more I knew, the worse off I was. I would have been better off not knowing anything and literally just I went to like stairway.com and got the fucking beginner cycle. And then I went to the intermediate cycle in a couple of years. Okay, 750. Okay, and that's all I would have done. And I think I would have got just as good results, if not better results, doing it that way. So the more you know, the best thing would have been to just get a coach. Obviously, at that point, I wasn't going to afford a coach, so that wasn't going to happen. But the less you know might be better. If you know just enough, you know what test is, you know what D-ball is. Just the basic stuff. You know what I'm saying? As long as you as long as you know that. But imagine if you actually knew everybody's cycle. That's not. And first of all, let's be real. Most people, they're gonna go where they're comfortable with. If you get somebody like Lee Priest, who's a freak and a little bit shorter guy, he says, "Well, I just did 300 probe." You're gonna be like, bullshit. You're gonna wait around until you hear Nasser say, "Oh, I did 5 grams of test," and you're like, "Oh, there it goes." That's what the pros do. So you're still gonna pick and choose anyways, right? So it's still gonna. If you want to do a lot of drugs, you're gonna do it anyway. So it's irrelevant. I don't think pros talking about it helps anybody, and I think people feel entitled that they're happy we talk about it, which I have no problem doing. You guys have no problem doing, but don't start getting entitled and feel like just because they're pros, they have to talk about it. They don't have to answer these questions, and they don't have to have a reason. Why doesn't The Rock talk about trend? Are you stupid? He look at the brand deals he has. Why would he do that? He's not going to do that, and he doesn't owe it to you. The Rock doesn't owe you to tell you what he's on. It's none of your fucking business. Let's be real. We know he's on shit, but it's irrelevant. That man doesn't owe you shit. Just because you watch his movies doesn't mean he owes you a damn thing. So
I've been probably way too open about my drug use. I mean, and the more I think about it, I'm like, yeah, I'm telling the truth, right? And I can feel good about that. But on the other hand, like, I think I'm going to have a negative impact overall. because kids will try and do what I'm doing. So I'll probably just start talking about it less and stop answering those questions. And it's boring to me. Like that part of the sport is boring. Like I know what works for me. It's not necessarily going to work for you. And the key problem is not necessarily that they know what I'm doing. It's that they lack the perspective that it took me a while to get up there. I didn't start there. Well, I kind of started there. I started doing really dumb shit, but then I was like, pause, let's rewind and do things properly after that. So, I what do I benefit from it? Because half the people are going to say I'm lying, and the other half of people saying oh, you're taking way too much, you're going to die at 30.
And the difference too, Stu, and I think everyone on this podcast is like that, is you just consider it a variable, right? It's no different from meal 3 or 4. It's not what is making me, if that makes sense, right? It's just another aspect of bodybuilding variables that I'm controlling at this point. You know what I mean?
What?
Joe, you all right?
He's hanging on. He's hanging on for dear life.
He woke up 3 hours ago and he's already knocking out.
300-pound bodybuilder, guys.
Oh man, he's hanging on for dear life.
I didn't know you guys were fucking watching me. I felt myself because I heard a pause. To fucking shit. I've been
you can tell how little somebody understands bodybuilding just by the questions.
Yeah.
With all due respect, if somebody's like we're at a point where we're so disinterested with that we don't even ask each other these questions. You guys have never asked me, hey, how much other than asking questions on the podcast, we've never said, oh, we actually don't talk about this shit, right? I think people will find out hard to believe because they probably think we're sitting around saying, oh, how much fucking test and GHG doing this time around. We could care less. You know what I'm saying? The more disinterested you are with that part, the more you understand bodybuilding, because you understand, like Ken said, it's just another variable. Same way nobody's saying, hey, how much scoops of protein you're taking. Like it's just one minute, it's just a variable. It's not like this big deal. But when you see it as this big deal that this is so game changing and I'm going to find this perfect cycle, it just shows that you don't actually understand bodybuilding. And one day you're going to understand it and this is all going to make sense. Right now, it probably makes zero sense because you're probably thinking bullshit. You definitely
just trust us, please.
Trust us. One day it's going to make sense, And the other time where it didn't make sense for us, right? The other time where I'm at the gym, I'm like 18 and I meet my first pro. I think his name was Ken Jones. And I keep asking him about gear. I'm like, hey, what do you think about D-ball? What do you think about tests? And he's like, bro, you're a fucking child. Like, why are you talking about this? Go fucking bench press. Like, what are we talking about here? And I felt like he was like brushing me away, like babying me. And it's like, no, I'm a grown man. But I get his point. Like, I don't fucking know how to train. I don't fucking know how to diet. What are we even talking about here? You know what I'm saying? So I didn't get it at the time, but now I get it. If a fucking 18-year-old is following me around the gym asking me about gear, I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? Like, look at you. You're not as good as you think you are, bro.
Yeah, I'm just gonna start making fun of people when they ask me about drugs from now on. Just mock them.
Honestly, the only reason I didn't do my own thing and crazy high stuff was because I was afraid I was gonna die or that my dick was gonna stop working. So might as well be dead if my dick stops working.
Fuck it.
I guess I don't care about those things.
I was like, I'm not gonna do any other shit until I talk to somebody that knows what the fuck they're doing because I'll kill myself. I was like, fuck this shit.
I gotta be honest. I didn't ever really have the fear aspect getting into it. The fear didn't start to kick in until Dallas died. I think. How long ago was that? Like 6 years ago.
2017. Yeah.
That's when it first crossed my mind. I was like, oh, wait a minute. Motherfuckers be dying? I didn't even think it was a thing. I'm like,
oh, yeah, think about that. I didn't start until the end of 2020. So all these bodybuilders started passing away. So
Yeah.
when I
Yeah.
started, I was pretty scared. I
That
was like,
makes
oh
sense.
shit.
Okay, because at 18, right, the only history of bodybuilding we had passing away was like guys in their like 60s, right, or late
Nasser.
50s.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Nasser died.
late 50s. So I'm like, I'm 18. If I die at 58, who gives a fuck? I go out. You don't understand mortality, right? I'm like, fuck it. I'll be old man. Motherfucker, 50s is young as fuck, even 60s, right? But at that point, you don't think about it. I was like, I'll probably retire young enough that no, who cares? There's gonna be new science that they'll have fake kidneys by then. I'll be good. You know what I'm saying?
They probably will actually.
Yeah, exactly. They definitely gonna have
if you need them, you're gonna be on Medicare at that point, so you don't even have to pay for it. Like,
good to go. Get me.
Yeah.
So guys, yeah, don't worry about it. If that creatinine creeps up, you'll be all right. Don't worry about it.
Iron kidneys, baby.
No, but at that point I didn't think about it. And then when Boston died, I was kind of scratching my head. I'm like, this is not good, you know. And then I started thinking about it a little bit more. And then I ended up having a bad case of pneumonia, actually. Then I'm like, is that my body trying to tell me something? Motherfucker, I ain't never heard of a motherfucker having pneumonia before. I'm like, that's... I don't got no average friends having no pneumonia. You know what I'm saying? Only bodybuilders be getting this pneumonia shit. I'm like, so, you know, so then I'm a little nervous. I'm going to my cardiologist. I'm like, double check that EKG. You sure? This shit is all right? You know, so then I'm like, okay. Maybe you got to think about this a little bit, and that's when I started to get into like, you know, I'm looking into like, okay, what if you take? I started talking to Leo actually, you know, but Boston was actually really smart, but I felt like Leo had a different perspective that at the time nobody was talking about these things. I'm like, I could just take like a Thomasartan or Ramapril or something like that. I'll be fine. He's like, yeah. I'm like, it's not gonna take away any gains. He's like, nah. If anything, you'll feel better. You'll have better cardio. I'm like, really? So then I'm learning shit. And I'm, you know, that's when I got smart. You know what I'm saying? And then I realized there's a lot of things you can do to prevent shit from happening in the first place. So you don't have to wait till you're already near that point before you try to fix it. You can actually prevent these things if you're smart enough, or if you just try, you know what I'm saying? So now I feel confident that you can do it the right way. You just have to have the knowledge to do it. And don't be afraid to ask, you know. These are the questions you should probably be asking us, you know, because these are things we actually know that can probably help you out. How come nobody asks about, hey, my blood pressure is high. What can I, you know, what can I do about that? My, you know, left ventricle is a little swollen, you know. What do I do about that? You know?
Left ventricle swole.
like talk to these are questions I used to ask. Yeah, I would ask Dave Palumbo these kind of questions. I'd be like, hey, my CK levels were kind of high, you know, by kind of I mean off the fucking charts. Is this like something you like? Oh, that happens all the time, brother. Motherfuckers CK levels all over the place. I'm like, okay, now I feel better about myself. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? So these are the questions you should be asking, not fucking ment and trust alone and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm not going to tell you guys what questions to ask. All right, I think one more. We've been on for a minute.
Yeah, good.
If anybody wants to hop off right now, speak now or.
Joe is gonna pass out.
Or end up
no. My phone started dying and I didn't want to leave, so the charger's on my bed, and this what happens, you know.
Hang in there, buddy.
hang in there, Joe. Just a couple.
No, I got to eat after this.
Yeah, me too. What is the best way to? I guess this is a good segue. Oh, okay. I know who this is. He's actually a good natural, a very good natural bodybuilder. I think he won his first show actually, and it wasn't a drug tested show, but he is natural. I'm positive that he is. So I'm gonna answer this question since we're on a health kick.
Health.
What is the
health? Yeah.
So maybe he's considering his first cycle, so he's gonna remain nameless. It's not Michael Hearn. What's the best? What's the best way to monitor? Mike O'Hearn does follow me, so I can't make those.
I was just gonna say you're gonna get a DM soon.
Yeah, so sorry about that comment, Mike. It's not personal. It's just how I am. What's the best way to monitor health when going on first cycle?
Get baseline blood work with your cholesterol, your kidney numbers, your liver numbers, um, and maybe baseline testosterone if you're interested in it. Like, I'm not really big on monitoring hormone levels because, like, my philosophy with like testosterone and estrogen, like, if you're on TRT or like a high dose of test, shit's going to be high. Okay. If you are getting gyno, that's a problem. We need to control your estrogen. But if you
Boom.
feel good and you're not crying at movies, like, your estrogen's probably fine. Find a sweet spot where you feel good, and try to use minimal AIs. But yeah, like, get some baseline health numbers, and then once you start, or like after your cycle, a couple of weeks after you're done with your first cycle, get those numbers done again and see what was changed. And going forward, you'll probably need to add in some supplements to address, like, if your cholesterol got jacked up, you're going to need to do something about that. If it's a first cycle and you're not stupid, it's probably not going to be too bad. But you need to get ahead of it and stay ahead of it, as you go.
You sounded just like Matt Jensen on that. He said baseline like 10 times. Matt though with baseline. Get back to baseline. Gonna bring it back to baseline. Baseline.
That was not on purpose.
Matt uses baseline more than anybody I've ever heard talk. All right, let's go with Joe before we lose him.
And before I die off, I was honestly everything Stu said. I mean, I wouldn't worry about too much depending on your age and stuff on the first cycle because there shouldn't be anything crazy to begin with. But that initial blood work before you start is pretty solid place to start. That way you can monitor what happened after.
Were you guys getting blood work when you did your first cycle?
I'm gonna be honest. No, I didn't.
I did.
Yeah. Are you talking about before you started or after?
But before and after, like during the time you did your first cycle, were you somebody who was doing blood work?
I never did the baseline, but I've been doing blood work since.
Oh, you know what? I'm lying. If you count, because like at my old job, they used to do physicals every year. So they would test your blood for, like, obviously if anything was out of range or whatever, you get the results back. So I was always healthy. So, I mean, if you count that leading up to it, then...
We don't count that. Joe.
Yeah, we don't count that, Joe.
I count it. I count the shit out of it.
When I went to the family doctor when I was 6, he checked if I had hepatitis.
No, motherfucker, I was in my 20s, fool.
No, man.
I thought. I think
I didn't. Huh?
I didn't even know what any of those numbers meant till I really started bodybuilding. So as long as everything said green, I was fine. You know what I mean?
I didn't, but
all right, I'm good.
I didn't do any of that shit, bro. I was juicing for a good 4 years before I met what's his name? The Dom Super Slice. You know who that is?
Oh yeah.
Matasio. Yeah. So he the New York. Oh yeah. At the time he was living in New York. I don't know where he live. Where do you live now?
He's
still
Florida.
New York.
No, he's in Florida now.
He's in Florida.
Everybody left New York at this point.
Everyone's leaving, bro. Just me.
But I was doing the Brooklyn Grand Prix, and I come to the show. I'm like, I'm winning this whole show, bro, and nobody don't even look at me, motherfucker. And then it was Vince Masson walks in. At the time, Vince was like, we got to be like, we're the same age, I believe. I think we're like 23, 22, maybe. I don't know. And mind you, as big as Vincent is now, he was already that big when he was fucking 22.
Yeah.
So he walks in like this in an Animal shirt. He's sponsored by Animal. That's like that's a fucking huge deal for us. So he walks on like this. I'm thinking this motherfucker is about to do a booth or some shit. And I'm like, this motherfucker got tan on? Oh, the booth. This motherfucker lining up for check-ins. I'm like, what the fuck? Why is he doing this? I'm pretty sure he was already nationally qualified. Why the fuck are you doing this show, bro? But then his coach sees me. So we ended up battling it out. He was a super, and I was a heavy, and I thought he was blowing me out the water. But I did have a nice look, right? So Dom comes up to me, he's like, "Oh, you got a coach, whatever." I'm like, "Motherfucker, I'm winging this shit. I don't know what the fuck is going on." And he was like, "Okay, I'll tell you, I'll tell you what. Go get some blood work." I'm like, "Who? Where? What are we even talking about here?" And he was like, "I got a guy for you. I'll send you." And somehow he was able to get me free blood work from this really good doctor. And I don't know what the fuck is on the paper. He read it for me. He said, "You're good to go." You know what I'm saying? And that was my first time ever getting blood work. And then I didn't get blood work again until like 3 years later. If I'm being honest. But luckily for me, but blood work always been pretty good. But I'm not gonna sit here and act like I was getting blood work my first cycle. I didn't get blood work. I got one set of blood work in fucking the first 6 years probably. Now I'm like OCD. I get this shit done like every three months, 4 months.
Because Bitey, you did a lot of trial and error to get here, and and that's why we always say if you're gonna go the enhanced route, it's best to get a coach. When you're good on this, you just don't want to roll the die with a lot of this stuff. You want to get these things in place early. You don't want to have to start correcting things when you could have prevented it from the first place. So whoever's asking this question, if you're ever just get a coach, man. It doesn't have to be a Matt Jansen. Like that's what I always tell people. It doesn't have to be a Matt Jansen. If you're competing at a local level, get a local coach. It's at least someone who knows what they're doing. And 100%. If the guy tells you, "Oh, run 2 grams of trend," then he's probably not the guy. You know what
I mean? Also, some of these guys, bro, they're good people, right? Not all of them, obviously, but some of these guys, they're willing to work with you. Like Dom, Matasio, he was really trying to give me a good deal. At the time, I didn't understand the importance of a good coach, first of all, and also I was like prideful in a weird way. I didn't want a handout, but it was weird. I was like, what I should have done is be like, "Wow, that's a good deal. I'm going to take you up on an offer." But partially because of the ego, I'm like, "Fuck it, I could do it myself. I'm going to get bigger than Vince, and I'm going to beat Vince by myself." You know what I'm saying? This stupid shit. The truth is that he saw good potential. He wanted to help me. I should have met him somewhere and worked with him, and I probably would be a lot better off now.
Could have been the next Kai Green, dude. You could have been in the Arnold by now. You know what I mean? Like same from Brooklyn, same thing.
No, but all that trial and error, it could have all been avoided just literally from that moment. At 22 years old, you know what I'm saying? I don't have any regrets, but if I'm advising you at 22. Don't do what I did. You know what I'm saying? Don't do it. It made me a better coach, maybe more intelligent, maybe more well versed. But for me, that's not helping me. That's helping my clients. That's not benefiting fucking me. You know what I'm saying? So that's the best way.
And buddy, you just brought up Vince, man. That just made me realize like sometimes we forget, right? Because of the Nick Walkers and the beef stews.
Yeah.
Dude, Vince just turned pro last year. Was it last year or the year before?
I think it was last year.
It was the year before.
Last year. The year before, right? Like, I mean, he's been on the scene on the East Coast here for the last 10 years. So
literally for the last 10 years.
Yeah, it's a grind, man. So people forget that. When people say, "Oh, I want to turn pro," and you're just starting out, like, dude, you got to if you're going this route, man, it's not every time. You're not, Nick Walker took a long time. We just saw the end of it too. Stu is one of the few. I feel like Stu is like one of the few guys. You know what I mean? And Joe, I feel like Joe, yours was relatively quick too.
It was. We don't talk about that though, right? Nick got popular and rose in the pro ranks fast, but as an amateur, it was not fast at all.
It was a grind.
But
it was a grind.
Nobody sees that part. We're from the East Coast, so we kind of saw that. But people don't. There was the whole time he was like Boston used to rip him apart. Boston, just and then that was the time where people started joining, and it became fun to pick on him, like, "Oh, this and that, this and that." And I'm really happy that he proved everybody wrong. Boston wasn't too prideful to admit it, though. He admitted it. He's like, "Hey, I ain't think he was gonna get this far, but he proved my ass wrong. Because you have to admit it. Like, if you would look really bad if you sat there and been like, "Oh, he's nothing." Like, motherfucker, he did it. You know, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. So a lot of
Shout
people
out to
don't
Vince
think.
though. Yeah,
Shout out to Vince. Yeah.
Like, yeah,
He
like,
just had a
that's
kid recently too, right?
Yeah,
we gotta get him on.
he did.
We gotta get him on the podcast. We have to get. Yeah.
Probably
There's so much.
Probably should.
He's doing New York, I think. That's going to be his
Is
first
he?
show.
Oh,
That's what I heard.
Oh.
Somebody told me that.
bro.
Makes sense. He lives in Florida now too, doesn't he?
I think so. I think.
Didn't he own a gym down here? He owned a gym here at some point.
Oh,
I don't know.
I don't. I guess you would know better because he's in he's in Long Island or Jersey.
He's in Long Island. He's got to be in New York. He's not Jersey.
Hey man, this sport moves so fast that we forget like this. Like I didn't even think, okay, let's have Vince on the podcast. That would make perfect sense, But yeah, the sport moves so fast. If you're not relevant right now, people just completely forget about you. There was a time he was all over Nick Strength and Power and all that, and then boom,
Everywhere.
They forget about you. Hey, But gentlemen, thanks for coming on. Do we have anything to talk about on the off podcast? I think we're good.
Podcast after the podcast.
Yeah, I think we good. I don't think I have anything that I want to say. Yeah, I think we good. Gentlemen, thanks for coming off. Thanks for hanging in there, Joe. Ken, no forehead. Ken, forehead not sweating today?
Dude, don't heater on today. It's cool in the room today, bro. Look at this. Look at this.
My man,
clean,
Ken,
bro.
Clean forehead, Ken.
Stu's curls are curling.
Yeah, they doing something over there.
I looked at a picture from a year ago, and it's like right around the same length as it was then. So I'm right on track to be like full blown, for the New York.
Yeah,
that's all
you have
about,
to.
Man.
You can't step on that stage with anything less than that fro. You gotta have the fro, bro. You have to.
And once it grows out to you got to do the headband thing, man. You got to bring out your own headbands. I don't know, man. You got not
on stage. Not
on stage. Not on stage. I'm talking about.
He's trying to come out with a king hat and a fucking gown like Ronnie.
Guest pose, Flintstones. Flintstone guest pose or something.
I have to figure out something to tame it though, because it really gets annoying when it gets super long. That's why I chopped it. So, my battery just died.
Right on time.
Definitely time. Yeah, definitely time to go now. Once Ken starts sweating, Stu battery go out. I start going hypo. It's time to go home.
I start falling asleep.
Yeah, so
it's over.
One episode, Stu did like a good 30 minutes with no camera. You saw that? You guys saw that? He kept going. All right, gentlemen.
Whatever it takes.
I guess.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Catch y'all.